Well, hello, everybody. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Uh, Joe here. How you guys doing? Welcome to the 800,000 live stream. This is kind of crazy, kind of cool. Appreciate you guys all being here today. So here's what we're going to do tonight. Here's how it's going to work. I'm going to take a minute and just kind of like chit chat with you guys here in the chat while I can. But the big thing tonight, look, we're celebrating the 800K and all that. Yay. Just hanging out. No big deal. I think hopefully I'm getting a little better at these live streams. maybe a little better than I used to be. We'll see. I don't do a whole lot of these. I'm no Tim Dodd, guys. But no, I wanted to take this opportunity of doing this to possibly raise some money for a charity. Not make it all about me, but use this as an opportunity to do some good stuff. So I picked a charity, and by the way, I might do more of these depending on how well this goes. If this actually produces anything of value and helps people out. I might do some more. I might actually invite some other YouTubers on to do a little bit of an interview style thing. The idea is this is supposed to be like an AMA. Ask me anything. You guys just ask me stuff and I'll answer. Nothing is off limits. I do reserve the right to just make a joke as a response. But basically the way this is going to go is you guys know how super chats work. I assume you know how super chats work in the chat over here. And so basically I'm just doing like, look, if you contribute or do a super chat for $5 and up, I will answer that question. And that money, all that money is going to get donated to a charity. So, I had my pick of different charities to go with for today. Like I said, I hope to repeat this. I hope this is successful, and I hope that this raises a decent enough amount of money to help people out. So, there may be different charities picked in the future. There's definitely going to be a lot of people from a lot of different walks of life that are going to need help over the next months and maybe year. But the one that I started with was a charity called donateppe.org. Let me see if I did this right. Yeah, cool. This is a charity called donateppe.org, and they basically are an organization that are donating PPE, personal protective equipment, to frontline responders, ER doctors, nurses, hospitals, and whatnot. And that's basically what we're gonna submit this money for. And they do have a GoFundMe account, which is basically where I'm gonna send this. And if you want to just go and donate yourself on your own, feel free. The link is down in the description below. I encourage you to do so. The link to this page is also on the description, so you can go check it out and see what they're all about. I thought this would be a good place to start to help out the people that are going to be putting their lives and their families at risk, for a while to keep us around and alive and whatnot. So let's give a shout out to them. And did I really just do that? God. And hopefully we can make a difference, help some people out, and have some fun. That's the main bit, right? So I've got Dakota. She's actually going to be collecting all the super chats. Now, I did see somebody in the... let me get back on the thing. I'm not going to leave it on this screen all day. There. And hey, look at this. Text on screen. Man, this guy's got it together. Text on screen. Look at that. So Dakota's going to be taking all the super chats and relaying them to me so that I will make sure and get to all of them. I will go as long as I can. I don't know how Tim does 5-hour-long live streams. I don't think my voice can handle it. Somebody said something in the chat earlier. You were asking, I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name, but somebody was asking, am I only going to respond to super chats, or will I respond to the live chat as well? I will respond to the live chat as much as I can. I don't know how many people to expect. We got about 630 from what I can tell right now. And obviously I'm going to prioritize the super chats because that's, why I'm here. I'm going to be trying to answer stuff, or raise money for charity and stuff. So, but I will do my best to get in there when I can. it can start kind of flying by a little bit. So, but first of all, let me thank all of you for being here again. And let's just jump into it. All right, cool. So I just turned into Philip DeFranco. So from Oak Knob Farm, first one today. How are you today? Hanging in? Oh, simple questions. I like it. I'm doing good. I don't know if you're asking about like specifically today or because of the quarantining kind of thing and all that. I appreciate you asking and wanting to know. I'm doing good. I mean, I've been joking that because I work from home and I talk to a camera for a living, it hasn't really affected me that much. But I'm feeling the just generalized heightened anxiousness that everybody else is, and just kind of getting by. I've been trying this week to do a lot better with my exercising. I was so upset, man. I've been working out with a trainer for a year. Literally a year. It was like last May when I first started working with her, and I was like starting to see a difference. I didn't want to throw up when I looked in the mirror at myself, and then this happened. And I tried at first to stick in there, didn't last very long, and then I just kind of noticed the last couple of weeks I was just kind of eating whatever and not really working out. So I'm trying to get back on the working out. I've been getting up and running the last few days. So hopefully I can stick with that. So thank you for that question. So Brett Messinger, how you doing, man? I can't get away from you. You're everywhere. You're in my podcast and you're here. That's a good thing. It's cool. You said glad you decided to do this. Keep up the awesome work. Well, thank you. Thank you for being awesome. You're like one of the most, like I just said, I can't get away from you. You're everywhere supporting what I do. I appreciate that, man. Guahir said, did you ever wear ties again? Oh, we're going back. Oh, that's a good question. No. Well, okay. So I wore a tie for that intro where I played the British guy with the 15 different accents the other day. That was the first time I'd worn a tie. Oh my God. What, 2 years at least? Yeah. No, that was an interesting experiment, to be honest. For those who don't know what he's talking about, God, you're going way back. When was that? Like 2015, 2014? Something like that? Yeah, I did a kind of an experiment. It was a personal experiment. It wasn't really even for the channel. It was just something I was doing at home for myself. And this was back when I had a full-time job. No, I wanted to wear a tie every day for 30 days because I didn't really dress up much. I just kind of, t-shirts, shorts, or jeans or whatever. So I thought, what would it be like if I wore a tie every day for 30 days? So I don't remember what month it was, but I picked a month and I wore a tie every day. And it was an interesting experiment, just in the sense of, if you wear a tie, you have to wear a button-up shirt. And if you wear a button-up shirt, you got to tuck it in. If you tuck it in, you got to wear a belt. And if you're going to wear a belt, you're going to wear some nice shoes. It just kind of forced me to dress nicer, and actually think about what I was wearing every morning. And I feel like dressing up a bit more, you'll hear a lot of people say that the clothes make the man, so to speak. And I definitely think that wearing the clothes, I don't know, like maybe I stood a little taller. Maybe I had projected a little more confidence or something. It just, it did kind of affect my being a bit. I recommend it, but yet I never stuck to it. It was, I don't know. It was an interesting experiment, but not something I would want to go back to anytime soon. But thanks for that. That's a good question. Green Shorts DIY, Tom Mills. I just saw you last night. So who is your favorite sustainability channel? Well, that has to be Green Shorts DIY, of course. Tom, if y'all don't know, Tom Mills runs the is there a Green Shorts and then a Green Shorts DIY? I've forgotten now. But he runs a fantastic sustainability channel. Teaching how to see green, be green, and save green. I think that's the nomenclature there. He also makes, is it on? I gotta turn the other way. Jake is at my feet, so I'm gonna wind up stepping on Jake here. But Tom makes this thing right here. That's called the Rocket King. This thing kind of looks like a little castle, and it's a little stove, like a camping stove. So if you are into camping, it's a flat pack stove. It's really easy to carry around. It's lightweight. I used to work at REI, so I'm very familiar with all that kind of stuff. And he makes that himself, sells it. Go check it out. Rocket King. It's awesome. And thank you, Tom. You know you my boo. All right, what else we got here? So Damply, what chair do you use? It looks really comfy. Oh yeah, so this is this is called, what is this called? Human Scale is what it's called. Hang on, I may have to actually do a little search here. The Human Scale, is it the Freedom Chair? Yeah, the Human Scale Freedom Chair. It was, I splurged. It was not cheap. But I kind of like it. You can't really see it from this camera, but yeah, sorry, you can't really see it. But the armrests, they go up and down really easily, which I haven't really messed with that much until recently when I've started trying to learn guitar. You can't really see it back there, but there's a guitar back here. And I've been, I would turn on Tangent Cam, but it's not plugged in right now. I used it to shoot these intros. I've got an intro coming from Monday's video too. But no, so yeah, I've been trying to learn some guitar. There's a thing called Fender Play, and it's like a guitar lessons from Fender online. And I found that like just being able to just lower these so easily, like down, up, it's pretty cool to just be able to get them out of the way and play and then bring it back up. It's really not as comfortable as it looks in terms of like, it's not like an Eames chair or anything like that, but it leans back pretty good. I like it. I'm glad I got it. I've definitely entered a phase in my life where, and I don't know, it's probably just because I've gotten old, but I've reached a phase in my life where if I would rather spend a lot of money on something that I'm going to keep for a long time than buy some cheap disposable kind of thing that's going to fall apart in, 6 months. So that's why I splurged and spent the money on this one. I do like it. I can recommend it. But it does I think it looks nicer than it is comfortable, honestly. Like people always comment on how comfy it looks, and I'm kind of like, it's okay in terms of comfort, but it's a nice chair. Okay, Tim Smith. Why does that name sound familiar? I think that's the lead singer of Midlake. Hey Joe, why do you like science and want to spread this information? Wow, good question. So I'll be honest, I'm sure many people have heard me say this before, but when I set out to do this, I wasn't, the goal wasn't I never set out to be a science communicator. That wasn't the goal. The goal is to make a comedy channel. And I kind of went in a different direction. Well, the long story, and I'll try to keep it short, is that I did a video on the Fermi paradox in like 2015, and it was the first video that got any real views. It got like 50,000 views, and it brought in some subscribers. And at the time, the gig was supposed to be that I was gonna just like, I called it Ask Joe for one thing. It wasn't Answers with Joe. It was Ask Joe, and I did. I would take questions from people, and of course, starting out, if I got any views at all or any comments at all, it was a big deal. But I would just answer the questions in a funny way. And then one day, I did one that was semi-serious on a sciencey topic, and everything just kind of went that way. I don't know what to say. But looking back, it's funny. I've had this conversation with my mom because I was always a bit of a nerd. I had the space shuttle up on my wall. I wanted to be an astronaut more than anything when I was a kid. I knew I was a real geek about space history. Like I really should sit down with Amy Shira Teetle sometime. And I would love to talk with her because I had like every single mission memorized. I knew the name of each Mercury mission, who was on it, what it did. I was really into space history. But I was never very good at the math and the actual brain stuff that you got to have in order to be an astronaut, which is actually kind of funny. I've got a video coming up pretty soon about how to become an astronaut. Like, if you wanted to be an astronaut, how would you make that happen? So, I mean, I guess it was always there. And I've been able to take this humor side of myself and combine it a bit with the science. And maybe someday it'll kind of become more of a humor thing again. But that's kind of the whole story. I hope that answered your question. Gosh, I knew this was going to happen. I'm talking too much. Let's get caught up. Here we go. It's a race. Blake the Savage asked, which video was the most fun to make from a fellow small town Texan? Oh, what town are you from? Not that I'll be able to catch it on the thing up here, but we small town Texans gotta stick together. Which video was the most fun to make? Oh God, there's been so many now. I've probably forgotten more videos than honestly, sometimes I will look back, or somebody will share a video somewhere and I'll see it and I'll be like, I don't remember doing that. And I'll watch it and it's like, this is a pretty good video. This guy's good. Wow. Is that me? It was a lot less gray back then. That's not answering your question though. What was the most fun video to make? Let me think about that one. I actually have to look. I have to look at my channel. How sad is that? What was the most fun video for me to make? I might just have to look at the most recent ones. Tell you what, here's what I'll say. This is the answer. This is the answer I'm going to give you. The airships video, fairly recently. And the reason why I say that one is because it was just like somebody said, hey, you should do a video on airships. And I'm like, sure, I got nothing else to talk about. And so I jumped into it, and one of my writers, Cooper, helped me out with that one. And long story short, this video, everybody that touched it, that would be me, Cooper, and Nick, my editor, by the time it was over, we were all just like, this is amazing. Like, there was just so much more to it than any of us knew. That is what is fun to me. When I find a subject that doesn't really seem like much, and then I dig into it and it's like, wow, there's so much here. And I learn something from it, and it kind of makes me rethink stuff. And that's exciting to me. And that's what gets fun. I still have a soft spot for just doing straight up narrative short film type stuff. And I hope to do some more of that in the coming years. The pandemic kind of put a bit of a squash on that, because I was going to be doing a lot of traveling and interviewing people and doing that kind of thing. But anyway, I will say the airships one, because it was just a really fun video to get into, and I just every time I turned around there was something really, really cool that I wasn't expecting. So thanks, Blake. Bilake. Robert Gray, biggest fear, phobia or otherwise? Probably my biggest phobia would be wasps, famously. We have a front porch on our house, and it's been halfway decent weather the last few days. So every once in a while I like to go out there and sit, because there's a nice breeze out there. There's more of a breeze in the front than there is in the back. But anyway, but every time I go out on that porch, I have to spend a good 5 minutes walking around looking. I have to look under the chairs on the front of my porch, because wasp started trying to make a nest under there one day, and I sat down and it started buzzing around my legs, and I shat myself, and it was not pretty, especially out there in public. But no, that was bad. And so yeah, now every time I go out there and sit on the porch, I gotta turn over the chairs and make sure there's not a wasp under there. I got stung on the head when I was a kid. I think it'd be better if I got stung a lot when I was a kid. Like, if you're a beekeeper and you get stung all the time, whatever. I've been stung since then, and it's not fun, but it's not the worst thing in the world. But I think just because I got stung on the head when I was a kid, it got in there. So I hate wasps. I actually get a perverse joy out of killing them. It's not my best side, but there you go. Anderson Rodriguez. Hang on a second. What do you think about SpaceX's rapid development? Dude, it's awesome. If you're not following What About It, his channel, Felix, there's also Marcus House and some others, but those are the top two that come to mind right now. Obviously, Tim follows as well, but I mean, there's entire YouTube channels and blogs and personalities, if you will, doing nothing but reporting updates on Starship development. And it is every day there's something new with it. That's unbelievable. So we recorded OLF today, and Tim was talking about the static fire that they did. Tim, by the way, did a 5-hour he did a 5-hour live stream last night to cover like 3 seconds of static fire. The guy's a machine. But the fact that they're developing so fast, so rapidly, I mean, they're on SN4, which is on the stand right now, and they're doing little tests on it. They may do a hop, hopefully. SN5, I think, is already getting close to ready to go out there for whenever they're done with SN4. And I know they've already got some pieces together for SN6. I know these are rough drafts and they're prototypes. They're not fully fledged out things. I know when it gets down to actually having, especially any kind of crew rated vehicle, it's going to, there's going to be a lot more to it than that. It's going to take a lot longer than a few weeks to put anything together. But the rate of development is just insane. They are just cranking through. If nothing else, it's super fun. And I always go back and forth. Like, I think it's just funny how SpaceX and Blue Origin just have completely different ways of being, basically. SpaceX is literally out open in a field with people with permanent setups, literally shooting every single thing they do. Like, if a guy welding together a ring of stainless steel picks his nose, it's on camera, whereas Blue Origin is like all inside and you don't see anything, and they're already making all these deals and plans, and they like showed off a fairing, and it was insane. And it's just like, Blue Origin is literally just one day there's just going to be a new Glenn on a launch pad, and our minds are going to be blown. So it's just interesting, the two different ways they do it, but the speed of the development is amazing. We've never seen anything like this ever in our lives. Man Bob. Heyo, wouldn't mind to know if you think there are aliens here on Earth right now. Oh boy, here we go. All I can say is I don't think that there is enough evidence to say so. So you're probably trying to get me to talk about the Pentagon sort of verifying the alien footage that I did a video about a while back, and that's why I haven't really talked about it. A lot of people have been asking me on Twitter to talk about it, but I'm like, I've really already talked about this. There's nothing really new about it except the Pentagon basically verified that they were real, or that the footage was real, really shot by like Navy pilots and stuff. I don't know. I still keep going back to, I don't know why they would come here. I guess they could watch or something. I've definitely met some people that would qualify as aliens, or that I would think were aliens, but, I would have to see some really, really, really compelling evidence. And I know for a lot of people, enough evidence is out there that is compelling enough for them. And that's cool. It's just not enough for me. But dude, I love me a good alien story. You think I didn't watch Close Encounters when I was a kid? You think I didn't like watch the skies in my hometown, like looking for UFOs? You think I didn't have every book in the world on UFOs? I love that crap. So I just have to see more. That's all. Mark Williamson said, do you believe CO2 will reach 1,000 parts per million, and at that point world governments will collapse? Oh, good Lord. So where are we right now? Is it 400? Like just over 400, 410, 420, something like that? Here come the 420 jokes. I don't want to prognosticate here because I'm not educated enough to say as to whether or not it will even out or like enough effort will be made that will get it to. I mean, 1,000 is still pretty high. We're not even halfway there yet, but we're not slowing down either. When you say at that point world governments will collapse, things would get really, really bad before that happens. I would like to think that. God, you're not asking this at a good time, because with all the pandemic stuff and the craziness that we're seeing in the world right now and the way people are responding to it, it's not giving me a great opinion of how we handle crises as a species. So I'm actually, I don't know. The optimist in me wants to say that we're, here's the optimist in me. There's a lot to be upset about with the pandemic going on right now and the way things are going, the way it's being handled. But when you look at the numbers, the death rates in the United States anyway, of course, that's what I'm keeping the closest track on because I live here. They are starting to kind of even out, maybe even trend downwards a little bit. And that's only because we've taken these actions, you know? I mean, we should be patting ourselves on the back a little bit. We don't do enough of that. We're complaining a lot about how draconian it all is, and it is. It's difficult. But we are making these sacrifices and lives are being saved. That's a good thing. So the optimist in me thinks that we're going to find solutions that are going to turn the tide on the CO2 thing eventually. I definitely will be talking more about some of the stuff that I find interesting as time goes on. But there's also this other side of me that thinks we don't deal with crises very well. And that's becoming painfully obvious right now. At least not without a lot of disaster. So do I believe that? Let's just say I hope not. That was a very long emotional answer to a question not really getting anywhere. But thank you for that. Cormac McKay Dublin. Sorry, I had to go there. Hi, Joe. Can we please get serious about the desperate need for a UBI or a minimum universal basic needs and shelter being implemented at a worldwide level? Talked about that here and there, and it's being talked about a lot more now for obvious reasons. There's a lot of anger out there right now about the way, there's a lot of anger and a lot of conspiracy garbage that's going around about everything that's happening right now. And I have anger too, but my biggest anger is the fact that there have been experts and scientists talking about the possibility of a pandemic just like this, even predicting exactly how it would come about, even predicting it would be a strain of the SARS virus. I mean, Bill Gates talked about that like years ago. And he's not even an expert. He just listens to experts. What a crazy idea. But there have been people warning about this for a long, long time, and yet we were still completely unprepared when it happened. I have talked about, I did in the, what was it? Oh, the 100 million lightning round video. I talked a little bit about the UBI and how I like Andrew Yang and I liked his ideas. And more than anything, I just felt like it was good that it was getting out there and that people were talking about it. Some people see what's happening right now as the perfect example of why we need some kind of safety net. And I tend to lean that way. But there's others that have other opinions on that. But we're talking about it. And let's agree that that's a good first step, right? That's kind of where I am right now. My biggest frustration is the fact that, like, there are all these companies going under within, like, a week of shutdown. There's a lot of anger about the airlines. I mean, they were making billions and billions of dollars, and instead of like putting some of that back and having a cushion and being prepared for something, they did all these stock buybacks, and then when something happened, it was like a week later, everything falls apart. if nothing else, this just shows me what a house of cards our entire economy has been this whole time. And hopefully we'll learn something from this. Don't laugh too hard at that. But hopefully we'll learn something from this, and we'll implement some more safeguards. I mean, that's what happened after the Great Depression. We found out that our economy was a house of cards, and then we instituted some safeguards, and things were a little bit better after that. So, it's a good example for why we need to be talking about it. Definitely, for sure. Jack Credin RL, I think I'm saying that right. Hey Joe, just joined the channel. Thank you. If black holes suck, so black holes suck. If black holes suck in all heat, does that make it infinitely cold? And would it be a good freezer? It'll keep your okra frozen. So if black holes suck in all heat. Well, since we don't know what's beyond an event horizon, it's kind of hard to say. But I know the area around a black hole is not cold at all. It's superheated plasma that gets shot out at ridiculous rates, and you get a blazar out of that. So I don't think it would make it a good freezer. I wouldn't put your corn in there. Mostly because you would wind up falling in, or your hand would just detach from your body and you would spaghettify. None of that would be fun. That's a funny question. Thanks for that one. Jeffrey Brumley said, "Did you ever get the purple mattress?" No, we didn't. But we love the mattress we got. I couldn't tell you what it is though. Is it a Sealy? We didn't get the purple mattress. My only beef, sorry, my lips are chapped. My only beef with the purple mattress, we went to the store. I got to be careful because I've never done a sponsorship for Casper or Purple or anything like that. But the idea of buying a mattress online that you've never laid in before, and then suddenly you're kind of stuck with it. I know you get these like 2 weeks to test it out or whatever. It's just weird to me. Like it's like buying a pair of shoes without trying them on or something. But anyway, no, this was like, we've had it about a year now. We went to a mattress store and I laid down on the purple, and it's neat. It's comfortable, but, that grid is still there. Like I felt like I needed to put something on top of it so that I wouldn't feel that grid of silicone rubber in my back. Or maybe it's something you just get used to. I'm sure it's a perfectly comfortable mattress, but we laid on it and I was just kind of like, I don't like that. And I didn't like the idea of spending that much money on a mattress and having to put another layer on top of it, like a memory foam or something. But no, we wound up, I don't remember what we got. My wife actually paid for that one. But she's still paying for it actually, but we love it, whatever it is. It's kind of driving me nuts because I would totally vouch for it. We love that mattress. And it's one of these mattresses that's like the longer you have it, it kind of gets broken in a little bit. It was a little bit stiff at first, and now it's just like super comfortable. I kind of wish I was in it right now, to be honest. But purple's kind of cool though. They had great commercials. Thibault Bernard. Thibault Bernard. Hello, Joe. What is the meaning of life? Be excellent to each other and party on, dudes. Come on. You don't know that? You know that. What is the meaning of life? I don't know. I said this somewhere. Maybe it was on a TMI video, but I bought this book based off of how much I love the show The Good Place. And it's called What We Owe to Each Other by T.M. Scanlon. And it's like a moral philosophy book. It's very difficult, and I've not gotten very far into it. I kind of need... The last thing that I read was Sapiens, which was an extremely dense book, and I feel like I kind of need to step back a little bit and do something a little bit more fun. So maybe I'll get to that later, but maybe after I read that, I'll have a better answer for you. I think that's the idea. Tristan Bove asked, how's Zoe doing? Zoe's good. She is a super chonk. She just keeps getting chonkier. She's our little furry potato. She's literally potato shaped. she went to daycare today, which means she's kind of tired. And the problem with her being tired is every single sound freaks her out and she starts barking. So especially on nights when she has been to daycare and my wife goes to bed way before I do, I have to like be really quiet. And like every time I open a door, I got this like weird door panic that she's going to start barking and wake up my wife. I'm just like, come on. But no, she's doing great. She's doing great. Jake, on the other hand, just keeps getting skinnier, and I don't know. Jake makes me sad. He's just getting really old. His feet are all like turned sideways now, and he's getting like rubbing spots on the side of his paws. Like he's just walking weird, and he's just so skinny, and he's right here. He's literally under my feet. But weirdly, as my wife has been home, as we've both been working from home, Zoe has gotten super attached to her. Like, she cannot leave the room without Zoe just following her, like, everywhere. And Jake's gotten more attached to me. Maybe as attached to me as Zoe has been with her. Like, he's just always, like, he has to be in whatever room I'm in. And I love the guy, but the problem is he's very slow, and he always wants to be, like, right behind you. And he's just, I can't just get up and walk somewhere without having to like step around him. Zoe will move out of your way. He just, so I have to, yeah. Anyway, but no, Zoe's doing great. Thank you. Not so handy car guy. Oh, hey, I remember you. What's cooking good looking? Well, come on. I've been waiting forever to ask this question. I think a lot of people are wondering this is, dude, seriously. Yanni or Laurel? What, could you be further behind the curve on that one, dude? Seriously? I heard Yanni, if I remember correctly. That was like a year ago, wasn't it? I remember hearing Yanni, and I never understood why people were hearing Laurel. But the thing about those and the whole black and, the black and blue or the gray, yellow dress, whatever, we all perceive things a little bit differently, and I find that interesting that we perceive things differently. But the fact that people were like, it's Laurel, and if you don't think so, you're an asshole. It's just like, oh my God, calm down, dude. Seriously? Anyway, the way that people got all bent out of shape about it was just hilarious to me. Okay, I just saw somebody in the chat say, okay, so Phantom Goaty said, try goat milk and glucosamine for the skinny dog. It worked well for my older boy that lost too much weight. So he would just drink the goat milk? Never thought about giving him milk. Glucosamine. We used to have some glucosamine chews because he had bad joints. Of course, he still has bad joints. Interesting. Good thought. Appreciate that. Cool. Earshot Media. How you doing, man? What criteria do you consider for choosing to collaborate with another YouTube channel? Oh, that's a good question. I need to be doing more of that. What criteria do you consider for choosing to collaborate with another YouTube channel? Honestly, as long as I feel like it would provide some value to the audience, I actually usually collaborate with smaller channels than my own. It's a lot of a gut thing. First of all, you just have to be like, how would this collaboration work to benefit both of us? Not even to benefit both of us, but like, it would have to be on a topic that I find interesting, that I think my audience would find interesting. It has to be from a channel that I think my audience would get a lot out of by following. And sometimes, it's just people that I know and I like their work. And I almost feel like I shouldn't even be talking about this because I do so little of it that I almost don't really have a real, what's the word I'm looking for? Rubric to go by. I need to be doing more collaborations. But really, with collaborations and sponsorships as well, with very few exceptions, it is almost always about the one and only answer, or the one and only question is, would this be valuable to my audience? Is this something that they would get something out of? So David Willis, all-knowing Joe. All-knowing Joe. Please tell us why they haven't released Shrek 5 yet. Do we need a Shrek 5? Does it need to happen? You know, your scientists are so busy asking if they should, or if they could, they didn't ask if they should. That was screwed up. Hang on a second, I got this. You ever get a chapped lip and you like just can't focus on anything until you deal with it? And something about talking just makes it worse. Sorry about that. I know that's disgusting. I'm sitting here peeling skin off of my lip. I don't know. Were they supposed to release Shrek 5 this year and it got postponed because of the pandemic? I know that happened to a lot of movie theaters or movies that were supposed to come out. Matthew Austin, what's the worst job you've had? Oh, man. I've had some doozies. I will say I've never really had a big manual labor job necessarily. I mean, when I was a kid, I would go out and help my grandparents at their ranch. I helped them harvest oats one summer, I remember. But that I wasn't really getting paid for that. It wasn't a job. It was just a thing I did. I worked for a while. So sorry. I worked for a while at a mall in college at a place called Things Remembered, where I sold little trinkets and I engraved things. And the thing that sucked about that job was that I was all by myself. It wasn't a store; it was like a kiosk. So I was like inside this kiosk. So it was like 360 degrees customers to deal with, and I was the only person there, so I couldn't really take breaks. It was not a fun job, although that is where I met my wife way back when. I've had a lot of restaurant jobs. They almost all suck. That was like my biggest goal, say 15 years ago, was to never work in a restaurant again. Did not care for it. Leah Grant. Hi, Leah. Howdy. What songs are you working on, and what are the songs you want to learn on guitar? Oh, good Lord. So, like I said, I'm doing that Fender Play thing, and it's very basic, but that's good. I wanted to start from the beginning. But I know enough to do like the very, very basic chords. And I always will like, ooh, can I play that song? And I'll look it up. It's like, yeah, I can play those 3 chords. you know how like all the big hit songs only use like 4 chords. Okay, well, these are kind of some deep cuts maybe. But there's a band called The Sundays that they have a song called When I'm Thinking About You that I can play that. Except for the bridge. They go into well, no, I could probably play it if I practiced it a little bit, but I was learning that one. I know once upon a time I could play Take Me Home Country Road. There's a song from the Editors called Smokers Outside the Hospital Doors that I think I can play. There's a song called Sullivan Street from Counting Crows that I could play once upon a time. There's probably a lot of songs that I could actually play at this point just with those basic chords. But those are the ones that I don't know why. I got on a Sundays kick. I used to listen to them quite a bit back in the day. And I kind of figured out that I could play that song. And I was like, ooh, yeah. So I started playing that one quite a bit. It's out of my range, though. I can't really sing along with it. Which sucks, but what are some songs I want to learn? I don't know. Haven't really... I don't know. The reason why I'm going back to it, I think I talked about it on the TMI, or maybe it was in the lightning round video. I was really into music when I was a kid, and it kind of blows me away that I let that slip away from me. I went to college hoping to study music, but I realized very fast that I just didn't have the chops to do that. I played piano when I was a kid. I played violin at one point. I played trumpet in high school band. I had a keyboard and I like made horrible music with it. I was a songwriter, consider myself to be a songwriter. Like that was really something I was passionate about once upon a time. And one of the things that I'm happy about in my life right now, with the success of the channel and the fact that I'm actually kind of getting ahead on videos for the first time ever, knock on wood, is that I'm kind of reaching this place where it's like I'm starting to, I think it's probably just an age thing as well, but I'm starting to look back on the things that I used to really enjoy doing when I was a kid, and that I haven't done in a long time. I used to play tennis. I used to be really good at tennis, and I haven't played that in a while, but can't really do much of that right now with everything. But so I'm just kind of wanting to pick up some music again. And it's also part of that has been I've been watching a lot of music stuff on YouTube. Rick Beato, if you follow him, he has this whole series called What Makes a Song Great, where he breaks down songs, and it's awesome. It's so cool. There's another channel I've been following, and I was ranting about this on Twitter the other day. One of my new favorite YouTube obsessions, it's called, the channel's called Todd in the Shadows, and he has a series called One Hit Wonderland, where he sounds like, it's exactly what it sounds like. He looks at one-hit wonders, breaks down the story of the band, how they got there, how it became a hit, what happened afterwards, did they deserve better. If you like my style of humor, or the way I kind of interlace humor with, it's not seriousness, but with real talk about stuff, he does a lot of that. It's a really entertaining channel. So I've been just kind of consuming a lot of music content and just kind of getting back into it a little bit. So anyway, ooh, way behind. Okay. And I can already hear my voice starting to go. Jason McCritchie asked, hey, thanks for the content, keeping me on an even keel. Oh, you're welcome. Sneaky Doubler. Dirty boy. Notable reactions to the hero TMI. You hit the mark with me. Okay. And how's your lockdown snack game? I did tuna from the can today. Oh, yeah. No. Actually, we feed tuna to the dog. Okay. He's so picky. Sorry, this is off topic. This is why it's going to take me forever to get to all this. He's so picky that when I give him dry food, he sometimes won't eat it unless I mix in some tuna with it. So it's like a bucket can, so it's pretty good. But my snack game, we've been getting, we got these things called Go Macro bars. They're just like little snack bars. I've really been trying to stay healthy and eating, salads and stuff like that. But at the same time, trying to patronize restaurants and small businesses in the area that I like and I don't want to see go away. So, yeah, it's just been a little bit back and forth on that one. Notable reactions to the hero TMI. I don't know about any notable ones, but it got some. Here's a good reaction. I haven't made a video since then on the TMI channel. This tends to happen. I'll do it. Sometimes I'll just like hop on there and be like, hey, here's what's going on with me, bing, 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 and go away on TMI. And then I'll have one that just kind of randomly does really well. And then suddenly I feel like, oh, I've got to put some effort into this now, and then I wind up not doing anything, which is even worse. So I need to catch up on TMI. Shoot, I should have done that this week. Actually, it's been like 2 weeks since I shot that. But no, it did get a pretty spectacular response, I got to say. I got a lot of Patreon subscribers out of that, which really surprised me. I don't know, maybe like I keep experiencing over and over again doing YouTube. The thing that you think is very personal and unique to you, it actually turns out hundreds or thousands of millions of people share it with you. So I think I tapped into something that a lot of people are feeling, not because there's anything special about me, but just because it was there and I talked about it. So, but yeah, got a good response. Wings to Space asked, when researching a show, how often do you change your initial view of the topic? Oh, that's a very good question. Often, actually. That's not unusual at all. And there are some that I think there's an interesting video there, and then I start digging into it, and I realize there's not really much here. You know, I thought there was something to this, and there's just not really. How often? Pretty often, honestly. I'm trying to think of one specifically. Well, for example, I'm teasing a little bit here, but I did a video fairly recently that was like great ideas that went horribly wrong. That was the title of it. It was actually supposed to be two different things in one video. And it was going to do like, that one was really great ideas where things went south. And then the other half of the video was going to be, oh, and here's some tragedies that led to a positive outcome. So like opposite directions. And I am still working on the second part of that, which is tragedies that led to positive outcomes. I feel like that's pretty relevant for now because we're going through a rough time and there's probably some silver linings. I'm struggling with it a bit though, because there's kind of a needle to thread there. You know, you don't want to be too much like, hey, all these people dying is a good thing, you know. But in the dust of tragedy, there's always silver linings and you know, good things that can come out of it. So I'm working on that one. But to answer your question quickly, it actually happens quite a bit. I go in with an initial idea, and then I start looking at it, and it's like, yeah, the research doesn't bear this idea out really. And even if I really, really loved the idea, I might kind of still go down that way, but I make sure at least at some point in the video to be like, there's another side to this, and here's what some other people think, and, you know, so, yeah. Yeah. Mike Kelly asked, which do you like better, the time travel intro or this newer British grammar intro? The time travel intro. What was the time travel intro? See, this is what I'm saying. Like, once I get done with a video, I just move on to the next one, and I totally, like, forget what came before it. So which one was this one? The time travel intro? Can somebody catch me up here? All right, I'm looking in the live chat. Does anybody know which one you're talking about? Does anybody know? When I was talking to myself about going to the bathroom. Okay, so Samantha says when I talk to myself a bunch. Yeah, but I'm always talking to myself in my intros. The bathroom. The one, okay, so there was an old one where I walked into the bathroom and then like the joke was that there was a black hole there, and then I time traveled back like a minute or something like that. That's an old one. The one about the toilet. Time travel portal on your bath. Oh, okay. Well, y'all. Okay, so that's an old one. I mean, that's like 4 years old. Is that the one I'm thinking of? Like, I didn't even realize you guys even remembered that one. Well. Okay, interesting. I can't believe anybody even thinks about that. Wow. You're kind of blowing my mind a little bit. Which of those two was my favorite? Well, my favorite one has to be the cloning one. I mean, that one just turned out really well. I feel like I did another intro recently. I'll be honest, I watched that old one where I came out of the bathroom and I had this whole back and forth with myself. I cringed quite a bit because I got like super serious. And I feel like it kind of lost touch with the spirit of the whole thing in the first place. So it's not my favorite, but it was fun at the time. So the golden ratio one, that was the British one because I was doing the maths thing. Seems like I did another one recently. See, my brain is just cheese at this point. Anyway, sorry, I'm way behind. Between the time travel one or the newer British grammar one, I would probably pick this newer one, honestly, just because it was... I don't cringe as much at that one. It had a better ending to it, I think. But the fact that you guys even remember that other one, that's amazing to me. Maybe I should rethink that. So Angus Holmes, I remember you from way back when. Been great to watch your meteoric rise over the years and been sub since pre-500. Yeah, I remember you from way back. Can you retell your George Lucas story sometime? I mean, yeah, well, I don't know if I want to tell it right now because I'm so behind on questions, but I'll just do it quickly. Hang on, let me see if I can find the pen. Yeah. I have a Skywalker Ranch pen. Make sure it's in focus here. Hang on. Can you see that? Is it trying to focus? It is not focusing. Come on. Oh, there we go. Can you see? No, it's not going to work. There. Skywalker Ranch. Yeah. On my 30th birthday, it just happened to be my 30th birthday, I was at a film festival with my movie way back when, and it was in Tiburon, California, just north of San Francisco on the bay. And I happened to meet another filmmaker who just happened to be from England, and he happened to have worked on episode 1 when they were shooting at the studios in Leavesden out there. And he had worked on it and became friends with the producer Rick McCallum, and we're just like having a drink at a bar, and he was like, yeah, they told me if I ever wanted to get a tour of the Skywalker Ranch that I could do that. And I was kind of like, I wasn't sure, but I was like, it's pretty close by, isn't it? And he said, yeah, I think it's right up here. Anyway, long story short, he was legit, and he got me into Skywalker Ranch, and it just happened to be on my 30th birthday. And I didn't meet George Lucas, but I came really close. I was literally in the bathroom at the main house at Skywalker Ranch, and when I walked out, he was standing. The guy that I was with, Derek, I think his name was. He was just standing there like freaking out. I'm like, what? And he like literally George Lucas walked into his office as I was opening the door of the bathroom. So it's not really much of a story. It's kind of an almost story. But that was an awesome experience. Just the fact that I got to go there. And Skywalker Ranch was gorgeous. It was ridiculous. Bubbly Babs asked, please tell us about some of the things you have behind you. I thought I saw a rocket stove before. Yeah. I was pointing at that's Rocket King. That's from Tom Mills's Green Shorts channel. Sorry. I'm about to add some things to that because all of the stuff, on this level here, all the way across, these four cubbies are Patreon supporters all the items there represent Patreon supporters who have cumulatively donated more than $500 on Patreon. And I don't know that I could go. I'm not going to go through all of them because I'm sorry, I just don't really have time. But and I would have to pull them up because there's so many of them now. I'd have to pull it up and see who belongs to who. But we do have, in Dakota, you'll be happy to know, I finally got the last one in today. I have like 7 more that I'm going to add, maybe tomorrow. Actually, I was hoping to have it up tonight, but so there's more that are joining, and that's what they're for. Sort of on a similar question, Thomas Bolden, who donated $500. Thomas, wow. Thank you, dude. That's amazing. Thank you. But you asked, could you tell us what all the books are on your bookshelf behind you? Okay, so these over here, these over here, those are literally just, I'm using it as a bookshelf for books that I need to read. So The Martian, obviously, Andy Weir's book is on there. Energy and Civilization from Václav Smil. I got 2 books from him. They're on the list of books that I need to get to. There's a National Geographic book that I got from my wife for Christmas. Oh man, I need to get rid of that book. And then there's just some other random stuff. Sapiens. Here. These are 4 books that my sister got me for Christmas that I need to get to. Red Rising. So these are all sci-fi-ish novels because I really am way behind on that kind of thing. The 3-Body Problem, which I've heard many good things about from many people. Dark Matter. And Dune. Because I've never read Dune in all this time. Again, I've been reading all this really dense stuff, and these might be dense novels, but I need to read a little bit of narrative stuff and kind of get away from the moral philosophy. All right, so as for these up here, these I've kind of kept up here for a long time because they're books that it's falling over. I don't want to put too much on these. It's not like these are books that changed my life or anything, but they're books that I think resonate with the themes of the channel and whatnot. But Atlas Obscura is just a great, it's a website that talks about interesting places. And the book is just a really cool book. What If from Randall Munroe is, if you like my channel, it's so much fun. It's just such a fun book. Blink from Malcolm Gladwell. Anything from Malcolm Gladwell will change the way you look at the world. There's a book called Practical Applications for Multiverse Theory, which is actually a comedy novel from somebody that I used to do comedy with at the Dallas Comedy House. Amy Poehler. I'm just a huge Parks and Rec fan. New Eden is from Kishore Tipernini. He's a supporter on Patreon, and his book was like facing out for a while because he was paying for that level. There's a Bill Nye book, The Ultimate Guide to Viewing the Cosmos, which is Universe Today. Artemis is Andy Weir's new book, or newest book. 4 Hour Body, Tim Ferriss. I think it probably wouldn't be too bombastic to say that what he does and what he talks about did definitely change my life and helped kind of get me out of the rat race and think about ways to pursue things that I find more interesting and that feed my soul a little bit more, and also, give me more freedom, But he's done several books. The 4 Hour Body one, I don't know why it wound up there, but it's there. There's a tiny book up there that you can barely see. It's called On Tyranny, which is just a great little kind of almost pamphlet on how governments kind of get out of control. And then there's a book that's kind of a fun book. It's called The Crossroads of Should and Must, How to Find and Follow Your Passion. I'm not above reading cheesy self-help stuff, sometimes you just kind of need that to center yourself. And this is a very colorful, illustrated book that kind of walks you through just how to organize your thoughts and organize your life, it's, and the idea is there's a crossroad of should and must, the things that you have to do to pay your bills and the things that you must do to feed your soul kind of thing. And you have to do both. And this is talking about ways to sort of work that out. So yeah, there's the tour of the books on the shelf as I roll my chair over my dog's foot. But thanks, Thomas. That's amazing, dude. All right. I've only got like 5,000 more questions to go. Okay. So I'm going to have to kind of cut these a bit shorter. Okay, dude, I'm about to run over your foot. Move your foot. Move your foot. Animals, am I right? Okay. Evo Brubaker. I'm sure you already mentioned it, but what are you raising the money for? Awesome channel and content. Yeah, it's down in the description. It's a site called donateppe.org. They're donating personal protective gear for frontline responders and hospital workers to protect them from the pandemic, from the virus. And thank you. So Bill Rather, God, I almost thought that said Dan Rather for a second. I was like, wow, Dan Rather. That's amazing. Bill Rather, how can we watch Oceanfront Property? I watched your old videos with my daughter and we really want to watch it. Well, it's on Amazon, actually. It's like $2 on Amazon. Just do a search on there for Oceanfront Property, scroll past all the George Strait albums, and you can stream it on there. Yeah. Don't judge me too harsh. I was way younger, and now my dog's farting really bad. And because he's under the table, it's just wafting up and filling the nostrils. Maybe I do need to put a mask on. Style asked, how many people are on your team and what are their roles? Also, love your work, comic timing, and honesty. Oh, thank you. Yeah, so there's Dakota. She's my community manager. There's I got 3 writers. That's Jason, Cooper, and Ryan. I got an editor named Nick. And I have a virtual assistant named Jeff who kind of helps keep up social stuff and the blog and that kind of thing. So there's like 6 people right now, which kind of blows my mind. David Beal. Hey, David. Really like Cultivar coffee, but what's your favorite blend for my second bag? I think you did reach out to me on Patreon about that. I saw it. I haven't had a chance to respond. I gotta be honest, I don't know that I really have a preference. This probably says too much about me. I actually have those Torini syrups, the vanilla syrup, like with a little spigot on it, and I pump vanilla syrup into it. Like I don't even put sugar into it. I just use that. So it obviously alters the flavor a bit, but I haven't really had one specific blend that I've stuck with. I feel like the Costa Rica was one that I really liked. Like if I were to just default, it would probably go to that. But I've been trying all of them. I like them all. I really don't have one specific one that just is my go-to. Somebody a second ago recommended I light a match. That's not a bad idea. It's just terrible. I don't have a lighter, though. That's the problem. Okay. Max Moosh asked, if the simulation theory is correct, does that technically mean that people who believe in God or any superior being or entity are kind of right? Well, I guess somebody had to create it, didn't they? So, unless it's some kind of temporal thing and it's like a future human, which is actually what Nick Bostrom talks about. He calls them ancestor simulations that a future civilization would create to kind of try to figure out how they got to where they are. Which is an interesting thought, because I would imagine at this point in the simulation, they could see how we got to where we are. So whoever it is that created the simulation is probably not watching anymore. So sleep tight, kids. Okay. But I agree with you. I think that would kind of verify it. Some kind of higher intelligence. Bruce Campbell, good day. Good day, Joe. What's the outlook for electric vehicles in Australia, considering its size, vast distances, and low population? Oh, dude. I've never even been to Australia. I have no credibility to talk about that at all. That's a good question. I don't know. I could just sit here and talk out my ass and speculate, but that's all I'd be doing. I really don't know. I would love to go to Australia, actually. But not a lot of traveling these days. I don't know, man. I would have to look it up. I would have to look and see what kind of trends are happening over there with or down there with electric vehicles. I'm sorry. I don't have a good answer for you. You have wasted your money. Tell you what, I'll write it down though. I don't want to like put everything on hold to like research this right now, but this will probably not be the last thing that I write down and look into later. If any of you watching are from Australia, even if you're watching this in the future and you have some kind of perspective on this, please do share it. Because I know when I probably shouldn't talk about something because I just don't know. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I do. So that's the first question I just have not had. I can't answer it. But thank you. William Weeks, big fan here. As you fast approach 1 million subs, have you noticed any reduction in your imposter syndrome? Oh, good Lord. I'm expecting I'll probably hit 1 million by the end of the year, so I don't know how fast that's approaching. But I can officially say that the channel is big. Until very recently, if somebody said, you got a huge channel, and I was like, oh, come on. No, it's pretty big now. It's pretty big. And there's a lot that comes along with that. When you say imposter syndrome, I don't know. I think I try really hard to just make sure that I don't put myself out as some know-it-all, or I mean, like with that Australia question just then, you know, I'm not going to act like I know something that I don't. So I think the fact that I am pretty stalwart about that helps, because I feel like at least I'm not like portraying myself as something that I'm not. But okay, so actually last night, some of you guys know I'm part of that group. There's that Nebula thing that I talk about with the Curiosity Stream sponsorships. That is from this group called Standard that I'm a part of, and they're the ones that kind of help set up my sponsorships and whatnot. There's a lot of much bigger than me, YouTubers on there. We wound up on a Zoom chat the other night. No, last night. It was literally last night. And I don't know how the subject came up, but it sounds very self-centered, but the subject came up was like, do you have a Wikipedia page? Has somebody written this about you? Are you on that? And we just started like Googling ourselves, right? And I Googled myself, and one of the first things that came up was Joe Scott net worth. And there's like entire websites where they just try to figure out how much money YouTubers and celebrities make. And I was like, oh God. And I clicked on it, and their numbers were way off, like laughably way off. Saying I make like $1 million a year is like, oh God, I wish. But they had, so it was funny because there was stuff like that where there was just clearly like, what are you talking about? But then there were some things that were really personal on there that I'm sure I said somewhere along the line, somewhere in a video, because I can't keep my mouth shut. But it was still just like, it felt very invasive. And it was just kind of like, why would anyone want to know this? Why would anyone take the time to research this? And on the flip side of that, there's definitely been people, artists, filmmakers, musicians, whatever, that like I got into for whatever reason, and I just wanted to know more about them, you know? And I looked all this stuff. And so I understand it from that perspective, but when it's turned back on me, I'm just like, but there's what? And I don't know if that qualifies as imposter syndrome, but there's this weird celebrity thing. Like I'm getting used to the idea that I am running a pretty big channel at this point. I'm trying to be cognizant of the fact that the things that I say carry a bit of weight with people. And I'm trying to be responsible with that. And that's a weird thing to get used to, the fact that people take you seriously. But this whole, I don't know. Again, my life is sitting in a room by myself talking to a camera. And then when you find out that there's people out there like writing stuff about you and trying to figure out how much money you make, it's just like, what? There's a weird disconnect there that I'm still struggling with. I don't know if that's imposter syndrome or not, but it's something I'm still wrestling with. And I'm sure I will be for a while. It's a weird journey I'm on, but it's good. Michael Caraway, your thoughts on a COVID-19 memorial, much like the Vietnam Memorial Wall. Huh. I don't know. Are there people talking about that? Seems kind of early. I don't know. It's kind of early. It's kind of early for me to say. Yeah, you know what? There probably will be. I think you're right. I think there probably will be some kind of memorial about it. I think it's going to make that much of an impact on society in the long run. Man, I don't know about a Vietnam Memorial kind of wall where like everybody's names are up there necessarily, but somewhere there's going to be a COVID-19 memorial, a pandemic memorial. I think so. Yeah. I don't know. Now that I say that though, I mean, there's not really one for the Spanish flu, and it killed probably more than COVID will. I certainly hope it did. That is a really good question. I could see it happening, but I don't know. I've heard some people say that we're going to be seeing a lot of gaslighting after this is over. We talk a lot about getting back to normal or the new normal. There's a lot of talk about how much this is going to permanently change our lifestyles and our economies and the way we run businesses and stuff, the way the government is involved with the people. And there's a lot of people out there, well, the people who are in power right now, well, they never want change because they're the ones running the show. They're the ones benefiting from the status quo. So I've read some articles where people are talking about like, just prepare yourself for, in the coming years, a lot of people trying to convince you that this never happened or it didn't happen to the scale that it happened. I find that to be an interesting thought too, that we're going to be seeing a lot of that. I definitely see that happening. My brain shorted out on that. JXC asked, what's my opinion on machine learning and its future potential? I don't think I've covered specifically machine learning, have I? I haven't really dipped into the AI machine learning thing in a while. To be honest, when you say machine learning, what I'm tripping over in my head right now is how is that different from, say, neural networks and AI, and how is its potential different from the others? My friend, I don't know that I have a good answer. Am I going to write that down? I think that's a good idea for a video. Thank you. Every once in a while, I'll do something like this and people ask a question and I'm just like, I really have to go and look that up, but I'm not going to do it right now. So yeah, that might be a future video, man. Thank you. I mean, all the AI and machine learning and neural networks and stuff, I mean, its potential is amazing. I mean, it's incredible. I think somebody in the chat was asking if I saw the Elon and Joe Rogan interview today, and I did. We actually put off recording OLF so that we can watch it first. He talks a bit about AI and maybe not machine learning specifically, but they talk a little bit about that. And Potato Hacker looks like he or she is a machine learning specialist. Cool. Okay. My voice is getting all raspy now. Eek. That is someone's name. Asked, do you think America will be renewed for another season, or is this the last season and the writers have run out of ideas? I like that. That's funny. Come on, murder hornets. I've been hearing the term late stage capitalism quite a bit, and it really feels like that. It really feels like that. You can't have a football game without any referees. It will eventually just devolve into chaos, and that's kind of what has seemed to be happening lately. Okay, so the murder hornets thing, by the way, I feel like I've talked about the giant Asian hornets at some point, because it's nothing new to me. What's new to me is the term murder hornets, and I'm convinced that they've actually been over here for a while. But it was always a problem that they were over here, because bees over here in North America don't have the defenses that have been built up by the bees in Japan to defend themselves against these giant hornets. And it's actually amazing that what they do, they basically swarm the hornet and create a big ball of bees, and they flap their wings and buzz enough that they build up enough heat on the inside of this ball that they actually cook the hornet, or they heat it up so much that it kills the hornet. And I guess the bees can survive just a slightly higher temperature than the hornet can. Anyway, they can do that. North American bees can't. So, 10 of these hornets can wipe out like 1,000 bees. It's insane. So that's a problem. But the reason why I knew about them was because it is a problem when they come over here, and I'd seen some videos where they actually got this amazing footage of them killing these bees. But I don't think this is a new thing. I think they've been over here for a while, but we're just looking for the next apocalypse. We're just in the apocalyptic mood, so we find these hornets, and we're going to call them murder hornets, and now it's viral. Yeah, that's my take on it. Although there was also a video that came out today of a praying mantis killing one of these things. It was brutal. It was brutal AF. You know what? I may even try to find it. It was so hardcore. No, you got to see this. I can't even. It literally just chews its head off. Yeah, there it is. Very first thing that came up. Oh, of course, it's some guy reacting to it. Who cares? Hang on, let me see. This is not for the squeamish, by the way. Yeah. Praying mantis just goes to town on this thing and just starts eating its head. So let's get a bunch of praying mantises. Look at this. That is brutal. Okay, sorry. You didn't. I'll save you. I'll save you. Nobody wants to see that. So, point is, something can stand up to a murder hornet. Okay. Ruben D. Lopez asked, why humans tend to create robots with the same physical complexity instead of created like spider robots or better physical structures that can operate where we humans can't? Cheers from Australia. Ruben, tell them all about EVs in Australia. That's a good question. I am totally with you on that, actually. So the Gateway Foundation, I think we talked about this on OLF last week. They released this whole video where they talk about how they're going to build, they changed the Von Braun station to what? Voyager station? Yeah, Voyager station. They had this really cool video where they talked about how they're going to build out this giant rotating space station. And it's very interesting. But they talked about these robots, that they're going to build robots that can like crawl around on the outside of these things and can be controlled from the inside. So they didn't have to do as many spacewalks to, build, because there's a whole lot of building that's going to have to happen. But the robots that they showed, it looked like a human. It was like a humanoid robot with a head and everything. And I'm like, why? Why not give it 12 arms and let it do all these crazy things at the same time? Why give it the same abilities that a human has? Why not give it more? I'm with you. I think they should. I'm with you. Yes, I can't say why they do that. I would prefer, especially for actual work robots, that they have abilities that we can't do. Amy Mito, what do you think of scientism? And would you say it's a scare word used by some people to undermine science and trust in scientific knowledge? I gotta be honest, I may not be familiar with that word. Hang on, let's look. Scientism, not Scientology. Excessive belief in the power of scientific knowledge and techniques. The promotion of science as the best or only objective means by which society should determine normative and epistemological values. So kind of like worship of science, basically. Wow. I gotta say, I've not really looked into this. I don't know. I mean, I based on 5 seconds of looking on Google here, I would have to read into it a bit. I don't know. I'll have to look into that. I'm sorry. I will say, I mean, if you want me to give some kind of answer here, it's funny. If we're doing a bit of a retrospective on the channel, I could look back. My view on a lot of fringe type stuff has changed quite a bit. I did a video about, the Global Consciousness Project earlier in the channel. I even did an interview with a guy that was developing an app that was supposed to go along with that. I don't think it actually went anywhere, but I remember even saying back then something like science can be its own dogma. And that's probably true on a certain level, but I talk about this a lot now. After spending 5 years looking into a lot of different subjects and researching different subjects, and I'm going to use that term loosely. I don't call what I do research. Research is actually like doing research. I just kind of like, find stuff. And my job isn't to be the end all arbiter of truth. My job is to be entertaining, get people interested in different topics and to go look at it themselves. But, I live in the valley. Hang on, I gotta see what I'm doing here so you can see my hand. Dunning-Kruger effect, as we all know, starts with this giant spike. The more ignorant you are, the more sure you are of how right you are, right? Confidence is built upon ignorance. And then the more you research something, the more you find out, oh, there's a lot I don't know. And your confidence level drops. And there's this whole valley that happens. And then the more you become an expert, the more you learn about it, it starts to slowly start to go up until you get to this other side over here of the graph and you become a bit of an expert, where you know that you're an expert because you put in the time and, you've earned it. I never get beyond that valley when I'm doing my research on these topics. So that's why, again, the longer I've done this, you would think the smarter I would feel. I actually feel dumber because I know enough to know how much I don't know. And I know enough to know how much other people who are experts do know, how much more than they know than I do on these topics. So I used to be a lot more into fringier, more out there kind of ideas. And I've gotten away from that a little bit, honestly, because I'm not as cocky about what I think I know as I used to be. I'm definitely a lot more like, this is what I saw, this is what I found when reading about it, and this is what I'm going to present to you, and you can go, learn more on your own. So there's a lot of stuff that I said and covered in the early days of my channel that I've evolved beyond, and I wouldn't say I still feel that way. I think it's important to leave it out though, because it is a journey that I'm taking, and I think there's no shame in admitting that, 5 years ago I was a little bit dumber than I am now. And with that dumbness came a lot of confidence and cockiness that was not earned. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if that answers your question at all, but would you say it's a scare word used by some to undermine? I would have to look into it. I don't know how it gets used. So see, I don't talk about things that I don't know about because I've learned not to. All right. Aiden Camacho. Oh, is your real name Camacho? I love you. Hey, would you tell us more about your stuffed bunny Ralph from the hypnosis video? Also, what were you drinking? Or what am I drinking? My stuffed bunny Ralph from the hypnosis video. This is the problem. People come up to me when I do like public stuff and they make references to videos or something that I said in a video, and I have no recollection of it whatsoever. And I'm just sitting there like, oh yeah. And I walk away like, did I really say that? You could come up, it's really, I shouldn't say this in public. You could come up to me and say, hey, I love that video where you had sex with a pig. And I'd be like, I did do that, didn't I? Yeah. Wow. That was crazy. I just totally believe you, cause I don't know. Okay. Hypnosis video. Let me find it. There's a reference there, I'm sure. Okay. All right. See, I had no recollection of this joke. It was gone. Completely gone. It was just a joke, dude. I didn't have a, hang on. Can you tell us more about your stuffed bunny? Okay. I did not have a stuffed bunny named Ralph when I was a kid. That was just a joke. But I did have a yellow teddy bear, and I did chew its ear off. And I don't remember if it had a name. It might have. But no, I had a yellow teddy bear, and I like chewed. I did Mike Tyson on Evander Holyfield. That's what it was. I almost said George Foreman. I chewed its ear off. So it wasn't a bunny, and it wasn't named Ralph. It was a teddy bear. So there you go. Patrick Hurley said, hey, Joe, love your work. Thank you. Just want to ask about books that you highly recommend. Oh, cool. Yeah, thanks, and congrats on 800K. Thank you. I mentioned, so I was kind of going through some of these books earlier that might have answered some of your question, but really anything from Malcolm Gladwell, I absolutely adore. I love books that just kind of make you think about things differently. And he's very good at it. He's very entertaining. Stephen Leavitt, who did Freakonomics. Freakonomics is a great book that's on that same kind of level. Just books that kind of make you look at the world a little bit differently, I did finish Sapiens. Took me forever. It's definitely worth reading. As you can tell, I kind of tend toward the nonfiction, but I need to get back into fiction. Actually, I only read fiction whenever I'm traveling, weirdly. But, is there anything else? Yeah, I'll leave it at that. The What If book, by the way, it's a lot of fun. So if you're looking for just a fun book to read, definitely recommend that. Did I lose you guys for a second? Screen went black. Don't know what that was about. Sorry. Okay. Cormac McKay. Hey, I saw your name earlier, didn't I? Are you doubling down? Are you from Dublin? Do you reckon Tom Cruise is going up on SpaceX's manned Mission Impossible on the 27th in secret? No. But we talk about that on the podcast today about him doing that and why it's actually pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool, honestly. I know it's not cool to like Tom Cruise, and he is a bit of a cheeseball and kind of wacky, but I respect the guy. I really do. I like him, and I think it's a good thing that they're doing that. For those who don't know, Jim Bridenstine, the NASA administrator, announced that they were going to shoot a movie with Tom Cruise on the space station. And I think he's supposed to go up on a Dragon capsule. This is not scheduled or anything. They've just been like in talks about this. I guess it kind of got nailed down enough to where they can make it public. But yeah, they're going to shoot a movie on the ISS with Tom Cruise, or at least shoot some scenes from a movie on the ISS with Tom Cruise. That's dope, dude. I'm super excited about that. I think that's a good. Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, I'll give you a preview. The argument that I made. I say argument. We weren't arguing about it, but the thing about us becoming a spacefaring civilization is right now it is all expenditure. It's all money. Nobody's making money by going to space for manned missions or crewed missions. First we had the commercialization of satellites, and eventually we're going to have the commercialization of people in space, whether it's for work purposes, for like heavy construction like Blue Origin wants to do, or whether it's like space hotels and tourism kind of thing. At some point, they're going to have to figure out how to make money up there to get people into space, or else it's never going to go anywhere. I mean, unfortunately, that's just the nature of the system that we live in. You have to make money to do it. And this, I feel like, is it going to change everything? Probably not. But the first time somebody's going to go out there and spend money, and they're going to make money on this by selling whatever this is that they're going to shoot. It might be the first time that a crewed mission produced some kind of commercial value. That's important, That's my take on it anyway. Okay. David Willis. Okay, Joe, here's a spicy question. What are the things you like most about NASA's SLS? We need some positivity for the orange rocket. Well, did you see Tim's video on it? I know he had to take like 20 or 25, 30 minutes out of it because they changed some stuff up at the last minute on him. He makes some very good points about why SLS is worth pursuing. I've always said that that NASA should be around. There's all these people that now are like all gung-ho about the commercial side of it, which is great. It's great. But you need, I feel, NASA there to do the big stuff, to be the pioneers. Like they kind of have to lay the groundwork, and then the commercial stuff can come in behind. What's frustrating for me, and I'm not trying to go negative because you want to be positive, but what's frustrating to me about the SLS is that it was actually a great idea to take all these parts that already existed, just kind of reconfigure it and make a Saturn V with space shuttle solid rocket boosters on it, But clearly these are the things that sound really easy and they're harder to pull off. But I think it's just the fact that it is such a heavy lift. Like solid rocket boosters are just like, it's hard to top that. They have so much energy. I think even after, I'm basically going off of what Tim said. I'm kind of paraphrasing Tim here a little bit, but even after Starship becomes functional and useful, it still probably doesn't have the heavy lift capacity that SLS will have. Like it will still be the king. And even I think New Glenn won't top it either. So solid rocket boosters, man. So I'm down for it. I want to see it go up. So there's your positivity. Abraham Neeson said, what's your view of nuclear energy? Yeah. Okay. So low CO2 emission, relatively low mortality versus other form of energy, i.e. coal. I do need to do a video on nuclear. I've talked around nuclear, but I've never really focused on it. I'm pro nuclear, definitely. It got a very bad rap for a while there. I know that there's some next generation nuclear technologies that can take the spent fuel from old nuclear and reuse it, get more energy out of it. I mean, what were they saying? Like the nuclear plants that are online right now are like 40 years old. You know, I mean, so much has changed since then. So there's a lot more we could be doing with nuclear. God. Sorry, brain fart. There was a video I just saw the other day that made a very, very strong, very good case for nuclear. Was it Second Thought? I don't remember. Whoever it was, they made this argument, and I have not verified this, so take it with whatever salt you got on hand. But they were saying that, like, that all the nuclear waste ever created would basically fit into a football stadium. So it's actually not that much. And I have heard somebody say, and this sounds nuts, I don't know if this is a great idea or a ridiculous idea, that one of the places, because the deal is, of course, it stays radioactive and harmful for like tens of thousands of years. And the whole question has become, if you have a Superfund site where you put these things, how do you make it so that, somebody 2,000 years from now that maybe speaks a completely different language knows not to dig there or to pry the stuff up. I've heard some kind of a plan to actually put it on a subductive, I'm probably saying the wrong word here, a subductive fault line where, like the fault kind of goes underneath and just gets melted into the mantle and recycled basically in the inner earth. That if you bury it like up here on a fault line so that over like, hundreds of thousands of years, it just gets subducted into the mantle and just kind of, the earth just kind of eats it. I've heard of this idea. I don't know if it's a good idea or not. I found it interesting. But you know what? I'm going to write that down. I do need to cover nuclear. I've actually kind of been putting it off for a while. It is definitely something we need to be considering a lot more. So, good call. Yeah. Amanda Kelly. Hi, Joe. Long-time listener, first-time caller. Cool. Anyway, love your desk chair. My husband works from home and needs a chair. Any info? Talked about it earlier. It's called the... we are officially at that point in the questions where I'm repeating questions. It's called the human scale chair, the freedom chair, I believe. The human scale freedom chair. I do recommend it. I enjoy it quite a bit. And thank you for the kind words. Jacradin RL. I got your name right. Cool. And now I'm repeating questions from people. I really want to make a channel similar to this one discussing science and the likes advice. Oh, yeah. I tell you what, I did a 30-minute video on the TMI channel that I invite you to go watch. And it was my top 10 pieces of advice for YouTube channels. And this is based not just off of the 5 years or so that I've been doing this, but I also, there's the on the job experience of actually running the channel. There's the fact that I've done programs and labs, including the YouTube Next Up program, where it's basically YouTube camp and they teach you all the strategies and stuff that you're supposed to implement to grow. So it's on the job training. It's actually training that I've taken, working with Tim Schmorier at Video Creators. And then for about a year there, my transition between the corporate world and doing this was, I worked for a guy named Jeremy Vest, and we managed YouTube channels. I managed YouTube channels for like HP, Hewlett Packard. And so I like to think that, again, I don't toot my own horn and consider myself an expert in a lot of things, but I consider myself a decent expert in running a YouTube channel. And I made a 30-minute video giving my best tips for how to do that. So instead of spending a lot of time talking about it here, I would just point you to that. It's on the TMI channel. And good luck. The number one piece of advice is just get started. Just before you go to bed tonight, record something on your phone and upload it to YouTube. You have started. That's 90% of the job right there, or 90% of the work. Ooh, I just heard some thunder. It's thundering outside. Are we getting a storm? Hang on, let me check. If it's thundering, that means the dog's going to start whining and freaking out, because that's what he does. Ooh. Got ourselves a storm coming in. See? It's finna hit. A couple of hours. Fun. All right. I might have to take a break here in a minute and take a quick trip to the bathroom. Sorry, guys, but let me bang out a few of these real quick. Alexander Vargas said, do you know Lemino, and have you ever considered a collaboration with him since both of you guys love mysteries and try to solve them? I don't know him, but he does have a fantastic channel. Yeah, he really does. That's not, I've done a few videos lately that were like mysterious deaths and disappearances. There is an upcoming follow-up on that one. Anybody paying attention at the beginning, I said I have 5 stories, but there were only 4. There is a 5th one that got cut out. It's going to be released on its own coming up soon. But that's not really what I do a lot on my channel. I do enjoy those types of videos though. I don't know. I don't know if that would be a good collaboration or not. I do love his channel though. Also another thing is I'm somebody that like shows my face on camera and he never does. This is more of like documentary style. I don't know. I'm not trying to find excuses not to. I do love the guy's channel, so who knows? Maybe. It's not the worst idea. Cyberdong. Oh my God. Your name is Cyberdong. Who else just saw a stainless steel dildo on your head? Okay. Do you wear pants when you make your videos? I wear shorts. Sarah Morabito asked. No, I just wear shorts. It actually gets really hot in here. So even if it was really cold outside in a time when I would normally wear like long pants, I wouldn't wear it here because it's just too hot. That's why I was so far down my chair. I should answer like this from now on. I'll just sit here like this. Okay. Sarah Morabito asked, would you collab with Caitlin Dowdy, if you know who she is? I feel like you guys present info similarly. I think you guys would do something cool. The name sounds familiar. Hang on. I know a few Caitlins that are on YouTube, but I don't know about her. Oh, Ask a Mortician. Yes. Dude, her channel's amazing. She's got a really great channel. Would I consider collabing with her? I mean, yes, I would. I absolutely would. That would be amazing. She's got a fantastic channel. I mean, it's dark, obviously. Her channel's called Ask a Mortician, and she's a mortician. So, I did have a video lined up for a while. I guess I could come back to it. It didn't ever actually happen, but it was on the most sustainable way to be buried, or the most environmentally friendly way to be buried. I would totally love to collab with her. She's great. Yeah, her videos are amazing. Good idea, actually. Damn it, I gotta write that down. You guys are good. Okay. Let me ask one more, and then sorry guys, I'm gonna have to take a quick break and run to the bathroom real quick. Last thing you want is me here dancing in my chair. Drum Corgay asked, do you like pints? Jesus, I love a thickened pint. Do you agree that Guinness is a canon inferior to the widget that does FA? I've just insulted an entire country. Do I agree that Guinness is from a can is inferior and that the widget does FA? Okay, you lost me at the end there. So first of all, I'm not big on beer. If I go to a pub, I would usually get generally I drink whiskey drinks like old fashions, but if I went to a pub, I would usually get a cider. I'm more of a cider guy. But I like me a Guinness on St. Patrick's Day from time to time. I think anything on draft is usually better than in a can. So I would agree with you on that. All right, tell you what, real quick, guys, let me put a pause here. I'm going to put the little logo screen up. I'm going to grab me a little bit more to drink because my throat's getting a little raw, and do a quick bathroom break, and I will be right back. And we're going to keep going. All right. I think I might turn off the questions in maybe about 30 minutes. I told myself I was going to go long tonight. I was prepared for that, but I am way behind on questions, and this will maybe give Dakota a chance to get caught up. So, okay, let me do that. You guys hang tight, and I will be right back. All right. Okay, we back. How you guys doing? Thank you for your patience on that. By the way, while I was out doing a few things real quick, somebody had just asked about like how I pick people to collaborate with, and then I was asked about Caitlin, and I thought as I was downstairs just a second ago, I was like, that's actually a perfect example of how my brain works when it comes time to think about people to collab with. My immediate first thought was, is this a creator that I like? My second thought on Caitlin was, we cover different things. I'm not sure how that would work. But then I thought, wait, no, I have this topic that I've been wanting to cover, and she would actually be perfect to talk to about that. So, there's a little white on my, who says there's white on my nose? I believe that is what's known as an oily face, reflecting light. Anyway, point being, my immediate thought was I had to think of like what is a topic that I could actually cover with this person that would be that they could add to this topic. So there's a lot of pieces that get thought through. But anyway, all right, let's get back to these questions. I'm gonna try to kind of go a wee bit faster and get caught up. Not as many as I might have thought. And then we can just kind of hang out a bit. I did go ahead and get me an adult beverage, by the way. So it's gonna get crazy up in here. Melissa Big Mac, who I see quite often. How are you, Melissa? How do you find out how much your total Patreon contribution is besides adding manually? On my end, it's pretty simple. Like you can just kind of like look somebody up in the dashboard and it'll show their lifetime contribution. I don't know if that's something you can see on your end. I mean, if you want to know what yours is, I don't mind, I'll tell you. Hang on. My computer would speed up. I assume you are Melissa McPherson, and your lifetime is 223 right now. Is that what you wanted to know? Look at me just answering questions just like that. I guess that's how you do it. You just ask. Major Zip says, you said you want to do more interviews with people like Andy Weir. Yep. Who do you want to be the first interviewees when we can travel again? Oh, good Lord. See, I'm weird about making that public because I just kind of feel like I don't want... Here's what I'm worried about. I answer this question right now, or I answer it in a lightning round video or something. There's 777 people watching right now, and probably 10, 15, maybe 20,000 people might watch this over its lifetime. Somebody sees it and goes somewhere on Twitter and says something about it, and it gets out somehow. See, this is one of those weird like things that I have to think about now and where I am doing this. That if I say something here, it might get to that person, and then when I go to that person, it would just I don't know. It feels weird, like that I didn't go to them first, that they found out through some weird internet grapevine that I was talking about doing that. I would want to be able to, secure that on my own merits and not have it kind of be screwed up, I guess. Clearly I'm already cagey about going to people who... Now, the thing with Andy was he followed my channel. Like, he tweeted at me. So I was like, okay. So that was pretty easy. So going to people who've probably never even heard of me, I know that I do have a bit of clout now. Like, I was talking to my writers the other day, and they were talking about, sometimes they call experts that sometimes they wind up in videos and sometimes they don't, but they call up experts to get answers. And or to ask questions, and they're able to say, I work for this channel. There's 800,000 subscribers, and it's kind of like, oh, the wheels get greased a little bit. And for some reason in my own head, I still feel like that's not there. Maybe that is the imposter syndrome or something. But point is, I don't want to just come out and say. I will say that in that chat that I had yesterday with some of the other standard creators, one of them is doing an interview with somebody that was in my top 3. So he's got a connection to this person. So it's looking like I could probably work that. And I'm super excited. This is somebody that was like a hero of mine growing up. And I'm not going to say any more than that. Sorry. And another reason is because I kind of need to put a little bit of effort into that list of people that I want to talk to make sure that it's, at least organized. So it's sort of a mental construct right now. And I totally just burped into the microphone. Sorry about that. And he's still doing it. Okay. Commander Corvus Corax Nevermore. God, that's a great name. Congrats on 800K. Thank you very much. Keep up the great videos. Did you make sourdough starter and then bake with it? Wait, what? Did you make sourdough starter and then bake with it? Hang on, I could do a better job of that. Now, I don't know. The answer is no. I have not done that, and I don't know where that question is coming from. But again, as you've seen many times in this live stream, I completely forget every video that I do 5 minutes after I make it. Did I say something about that somewhere? Are you talking about the mother? No, that's the vinegar thing. I don't know. Maybe somebody can explain what I'm saying, what you're talking about here. May have to come back to that. I'm sorry, because you did a really nice donation, and I want to thank you for that. But I'm sorry, I don't know what you're referring to here. I'll have to come back to that later. Shu Zhang says, which of uranium-238, thorium, or fusion reactor do you think will be realized first? Oh, uranium-238. What is it 235 that we use now? Sorry, I had to refresh my memory. I would still put fusion last. I want to see it more than anyone, but it's still a bit out, unfortunately. I do not have the expertise to fully answer that question. But you got me curious enough about the uranium-238 that I want to go check that out. The thing about thorium, there must be something that I'm missing about thorium, because it seems like we have that technology now, and it's just not happening for some reason. Fusion is still something that we're developing, and I need to look into the uranium-238. So I don't know. I can't really answer that question, but it definitely is making me want to go check out and learn some more. So thank you for that. Bob Blitheract, Mars or Ganymede? For traveling there, I guess. I would say Mars. Ganymede is what, Jupiter? Mars is just simply closer. What is it like? The distance between the sun and Mars is the same as the distance between Mars and Jupiter, or something like that. Like, Jupiter's actually way further out there. So if you're talking about human space travel, it would definitely be Mars. Kling Beetle, do you think non-human animals are capable of higher intelligence? If they were given jobs and educated, would they function on a high level similar to us? I saw something recently where they made a prediction that by 2020, or roughly where we are now, that that monkeys would basically be working for us, doing manual labor, doing all the manual labor, and we wouldn't be doing it. Of course, this was like a long time ago. It was an insane idea, but it wasn't I say it was an insane idea, but it was like the Rand Corporation that thought that this would be true. It wasn't just some weird futurologist or something. It was like the Rand Corporation. But do I think they're capable of higher intelligence? Animal intelligence is actually really interesting to me. That's what the whole cephalopod video is about. The fact that they have just a different kind of intelligence that we don't understand. If they were given jobs and educated, could they function on a level similar to us? I'm going to say I don't think so. Unless we did some kind of like genetic reprogramming. It is interesting to see like the gorillas that can do sign language. And there was a video I saw where some people like ate something at a zoo outside of a gorilla enclosure, and the gorilla was like sign languaging at them like you're not supposed to be eating because the signs, well, the policy was that people weren't supposed to bring their food in there. So I think they're smarter than we give them credit for, but then at the same time, getting them to actually do our work for us. I'm going to say I don't think so. And leave it at that. Randy Wiedenfeld said, are you likely to make the over 8-hour drive to Boca Chica? No, yeah, eventually. That was one of the big things I wanted to do this year, was to go down there. I want to do a video about the future of Boca Chica, like what Tesla's, SpaceX's plans are for Boca Chica long term, in terms of like, let's just say Starship does exactly what they think it's going to do, and it's going to be this like constantly rotating series of launches out there for crewed and commercial missions. Boca Chica could be like the next Cape Canaveral, or a mini Cape Canaveral, or a private Cape Canaveral. I have been told straight up by somebody who knows that they would never just sit down with me and tell me exactly what their plans are long term, like 20 years out for Boca Chica. But I mean, somebody's thinking about it. So I would love to cover that. And if nothing else, like look at what's happening with Boca Chica right now. I mean, it's like this sleepy little small tiny town that's now suddenly this epicenter of this rocket technology, you know. I would love to go down there and do something like that. Absolutely. Yeah, the answer is yes. Sorry. Andy Zhao. Would you invest in Tesla? Do I own Tesla stock? I do not own Tesla stock. I have to say I'm kind of like Ben Sullins when it comes to the stock market. I'm not really a stock market player. I feel like the whole thing now is just like run by AI and bots and stuff anyway. I mean, there's nothing real about it. Would I though? I've thought about it. Right now, look, I mentioned earlier, it's just funny that people are like trying to figure out how much money I make, and it's always way more than I'm actually making. But I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm struggling in any way, or that I'm like where I used to be 10, 15 years ago or something. I'm doing very well right now, and I'm very, very thankful for that. But I'm still at this place right now where it's like, I need to be putting money back for retirement. I don't want to be doing this forever, or this exactly what I'm doing right now forever. It might morph into something else. So I'm trying to like set up a nest egg. I'm trying to I'm 45 years old. I need to have some money put away so that I'm not, struggling later on. So that's what I'm focused on right now. And if I get to the point where it's like, I just have extra money laying around and it's looking good, I don't know. I might. And I've even thought about, like if the economy really starts to go south and it becomes a bit of a depression, and assuming I'm not, hit too hard with it myself, I mean, it might be a good time to put some money in the stock market because it's all going back up. But even then, I would probably be more like an index fund kind of guy. I'm not very risk averse. Yeah. That's my answer. I'm not somebody that's rushing out to do that. Joe LeDuc. Your name is also Joe. Yes, it is. What's my favorite thing about being named Joe? That's my favorite thing about it. Well, Tiger King made it fun. I don't know. It's funny. So in some ways, there's not a lot of people named Joe. It sounds like an extremely common name, but it's actually not. I almost never meet people named Joe. I mean, yourself excluded. But I will say one of the things that's kind of annoying about being named Joe is that it rhymes with so many things, especially so many things that people yell, like go or no, like at football games or any kind of event. People yell out things that rhyme with my name all the time, and I'm just constantly like, looking, what did you call my name? That's a little bit of an annoying thing about it. I think, having said that though, I mean, like, considering especially what I do here, Joe is like this name that's synonymous with average, which I used to always hate because who wants to be average, right? But at the same time, being somebody who is sort of like a layman when it comes to the sort of science stuff that I talk about on here, dude, I just realized that part of my text is covered up by my little logo on the screen. That's dumb. Just now realizing that. Sorry. I think it kind of fits the channel. It's a good name for somebody who does what I do. I'm a lay person. I take sciencey topics and I put them in. Hopefully, that's the goal, is to put it into terms that are more understandable and more fun. So I'm just like an average guy talking about stuff. Joe's kind of the perfect name for that. So maybe that's a good answer. The Sauce asked, hang on. Is it me or is weather prediction getting worse? Somebody reached out to me on Patreon. I don't know if this was you or not, with a similar question. You said you noticed weather forecasts never seem to be as accurate as they used to be. I mean, I don't know if you're the same person that reached out to me on Patreon, but somebody on Patreon reached out. I never know because everybody has different names in all these different places. The person on Patreon's question, if this was you, was is the slowdown in the economy and maybe possibly less pollution in the air because of that altering weather patterns in a way that is causing weather to be more difficult to predict. And I don't know the answer to that, but it's an interesting thought. It is an interesting thought to me. I will say I don't really follow weather and the predictions. I personally, it hasn't that's not something I've personally noticed in any significant way. So I don't know that I can speak to that. But I guess you guys can kind of discuss that in the live chat. Have you noticed that weather prediction is getting worse? I don't know that I've personally noticed that, but it might also be that maybe it's handled by AI more now than it used to be, and there's just sort of a learning curve or something. I don't know. I don't know. That's an interesting thought, but it's not something I've noticed myself. Nova Scorpio. God, great names in here. I work in the asphalt industry. With the rise of EVs, what do you think the roads of the future will look like if oil refineries taper off? I mean, my gut reaction to that is I don't think that the roads will be any different just because the powertrain on the cars is different. And I know nothing about asphalt and what goes into it. I assume there's some petroleum products that go in there. Well, I mean, I've said this before, if every car in the world became an EV, we would still need oil. Like oil wouldn't just stop being drilled. That's where all the plastic comes from. Plastic comes from petrochemicals. And like I said, I don't know what goes in asphalt. I assume it's some kind of fossil fuel. So, I mean, it would still be a part of that as well. So, I mean, I don't think the roads would change unless we just had some breakthrough and some better road technology that never develops potholes or something, which would be kind of great. That's my take on it, but it's a very uneducated take, so I could be wrong. Okay, so I'm going to take the text off the screen. It still applies. If you guys want to ask $5 or more, I will get to it, but I've got a few more here. I'm going to power through them, and then we can just kind of hang out for a minute as long as my voice will last. and we can just hang out. Abigail asked, would you consider doing a video on bees, their endangerment, how to help, Paul Stamets has an interesting solution in the Asian giant hornet. I talked about the Asian giant hornet a minute ago. Hornet, the nerder hornet. Yeah. Would I consider it? Sure, I'd consider it. I haven't heard. I mean, the bees were in such a bad spot for a while there, and I haven't really heard much about it recently. So I don't know. I would have to look into that. Would I consider it? Sure, I'd consider it. I can't speak in an educated way about it right now, but what's the guy's name? Paul Stamets. I almost said Paul Stanley. The guy from Kiss. I will look into that. Hang on, why is this? All right, John Vincent Sadiq said, where do you see space agencies send probes to? What are your thoughts on Titan, Enceladus, and Sedna? You saw me on the Everyday Astronaut live stream. I felt bad about that. So yeah, Tim last night was doing a 5-hour live stream. I've been doing this for what, like an hour and a half now? 2.5 hours? 2.5 hours. And my voice is just toast, I can tell already. I don't know how Tim does a 5-hour one. That's insane. But no, honestly, I was in here cleaning the room, and I was just going to put something on YouTube, and I saw that he was live, so I just put it on there. And then he started talking about OLF, and so I hopped into the live chat and just kind of screwed with him a little bit. And I felt bad afterwards, because then everybody was like, Joe, and like, I felt like I was kind of stealing his thunder a little bit. That wasn't the point. I was just kind of messing around. But anyway, where do I see space agencies sending probes? I know that they're very interested in Titan. Sedna, I don't know about Sedna so much. I know definitely Titan and Enceladus, they're very interested in those. I mean, they want to find life. Outside of mineral resources, which can be found much closer, and asteroids and stuff, the only other reason to go send probes to other moons and planets is to look for signs of life in our solar system. And Titan and Enceladus, I think, are the best options. So other than that, I would have to go and look. There might be some in the works that I don't know about. Other than that, going out into like deep space, trying to get into, the Kuiper Belt or what is it? The Oort cloud. The Oort cloud's way out there. Even Voyager is going to be another like 200, 300, maybe even 1,000 years before it gets to the Oort cloud. I couldn't believe the Oort cloud was so far away when I found that out. No, I think you called it. Titan and Enceladus are the big ones, definitely. Stephen Nancarao. Hi, Joe. I'm from Oz. Lots of Australians here tonight. It must be a good time for you guys. Been loving your content for ages. Thank you. Follow you on QWJ. Oh, you must have meant AWJ. Yeah. And OLF. If given the time and opportunity, would you come to Oz? Either you and or the whole OLF team would be cool. I would love to go to Australia. I've never been. Of course I would love to go. Yeah. Well, we even joked. I know that New Zealand is not Australia, but we joked about, let's say it was a semi-joke, because I would totally do this, about going to Rocket Lab, going and either watching a launch or just doing a tour of Rocket Lab or something. I did an interview with Peter Beck a while back, so I kind of know him. He and Tim are best buds, but that's New Zealand. That's not Australia. I would love to come to Australia. I've never been. Midnight Oil was my favorite band growing up, or one of my favorite bands. I still love Midnight Oil. Christopher Humphrey. Excuse me. What's the most detrimental thing we adhere to? Ooh, wow, that's a great question. What's the most detrimental thing we adhere to? Well, there's a lot of ways to take that. Personally, as individuals, or as a society. Like what ideas in a societal speak. Well, I'll tell you what. Here's the best answer I can give you right now. Again, looking at the way we are handling this crisis right now, the conspiratorial thinking that we are seeing in the world around this crisis, around everything, is, I don't know. I'm really just starting to feel like if there's anything that's going to bring us down, it's that. This immediate need to like create this narrative out of it. I think we just don't handle randomness and chaos very well. We need everything to have a reason, and we make sense of things by cause and effect. So something has to have caused this, right? And we need to point at something. It's really hard for us to just sit back and be like, you know what, this happened and we just have to deal with it. And it's much harder to say it's the way we're being in the world. It's the systems in place that we're all a part of and that we're all contributing to that's causing XYZ problem. It's much easier to say some secret cabal of rich people behind the scenes are doing all this stuff. But it gets insane. And I don't know what the answer is to combat conspiratorial thinking, because the second you point out that something disproves a conspiracy, it just becomes part of the conspiracy to those who believe it. I was talking about this the other day to somebody. I don't maybe repeating myself, but there's a YouTube, sorry, not a YouTube channel. There's a podcast I listen to. I'm a huge fan of, and I kind of hadn't listened to it for years, and I just sort of rediscovered it recently. It's called You Are Not So Smart. David McRae, I believe is the guy's name. And it's all about behavioral science. It's all about the cognitive illusions that we all have and are susceptible to. There was an episode they just did recently where he interviewed the people who did the movie Behind the Curve, which was a documentary about flat earthers on Netflix, which I haven't seen. I kind of just, you just have to see some of the comments I get. I'm so over the flat earther thing. So I haven't actually seen it, but it was a fascinating interview where they talked about like the way, we talked to them, and he also talked to like behavioral experts and psychologists. And sorry if Jake's making a lot of noise. He's getting all restless because of the storm. It's all right, buddy. It's okay. You can't see him, can you? I would ask him to jump up on my lap so you could see him, but he's not jumping too good these days. Anyway, it was a fascinating interview, a fascinating episode of that podcast, and it's disturbing, and I don't know exactly how we combat it, and it's something that I don't know. I feel like I should talk about it a little bit more on the channel, because again, like I'm not trying to like put all the world's ills into one basket, but I just feel like if we could crack that egg of getting people to stop thinking that way, it would make a lot of things in the world better. That's my thought on that. Conscious robot. I'm an advocate for the responsible use of psychedelics. Okay. I'm curious how you feel about them, and have you ever used them, if you don't mind answering. Somebody reached out with a question just like this on Instagram the other day, and I never got back to that person because I'm a terrible human being. I have done videos on psychedelics, but not on psychedelics, but I think that they have a very important clinical role to play from what I've read, from just the stuff that I've looked at. Sorry, Mom, if you're watching, but I did do mushrooms once. And here's the deal about that. I'm not going to go into specifics because it's personal and nobody needs to know. But let's just say that I had a really big personal hang up at the time that I did this. And it was something that was eating away at me quite a bit, causing relationship problems. And it wasn't even in a good setting. It wasn't like a clinical setting, and I wasn't being guided by an expert or anything. But I did some mushrooms, and things got weird. I remember being just blown away because I saw a cat in a parking lot. But I remember I woke up the next day And for the life of me, I could not figure out why I was upset about the thing that I was upset about. Whatever it was that had been just gnawing away at me for so long was just gone. It was just gone. And it did eventually sort of creep back in a little bit, but I handled it better later on. Like it never held sway over me anymore, like it did before that. And again, that was a totally unstructured, just an experimental thing that I did. And so I could totally see the benefit of if somebody was really doing it in a clinical setting with somebody that was guiding them and knew what they were doing, that they could have some really positive effects for people with a lot bigger problems than I had with that whole thing. So I think it's definitely worth exploring. Yeah, I'm pro. I mean, again, if done the right way and responsibly, I think I'm pro. Yeah. Your Nightcore. Have you ever watched Thoughty 2? You spelled that wrong, but yes. Super interesting videos, very educational. Huge fan of him and you. Yes, I have watched him. I'm not gonna like bag on him or anything like that. He does seem to be sort of like the contrarian of YouTube. Like, here's what he does that kind of drives me nuts. I'm just being honest. First of all, let me just say, yeah, I've been following him for a while and I do like his videos. He does a really great job. His mustache is on point. But he'll make a video with a title that makes me either roll my eyes or go, oh God, or just piss me off. Cause it's like so contrary, like it's whatever's going on in the world right now. He's like, he does, it's clearly clickbait, but he does a title that's like the opposite of that. And it's inciting for lack of a better word. But then you watch the video and yeah, he'll kind of go down that route, but he does this kind of curve around and gets it back to a place where he doesn't necessarily like try to convince you that this other thing is wrong, but he kind of like says, there is this, and then he kind of swings it back around. He does a good job. Like, what I'm saying is like the titles and the thumbnails kind of and then I watch the video and I'm like, yeah, all right. Okay. You got me. But no, he does good work. We've never met or anything. I can't even think of his name right now. I don't know his name. Sorry, it's not coming to me. I know he's got a book that he's promoting, which is cool. Druxel says, when was the last time you, I'll just say it. When was the last time you shit yourself? And was it justified? Temporarily I can't place myself exactly when this was, but it's happened when I was an adult. I thought it was a fart and it was more liquid and it, it wasn't a good day. It's happened. I don't know when 5-10 years ago or something. Luckily. I just hope as I get older, I'm able to maintain a little bit of, a seal back there. I don't have to like constantly worry about that. Don't want the adult diapers. Millennial Stray, it looks like you actually donated twice and I missed you the first time. I am sorry about that. You said, say I only drink tequila while I'm out with the girls and hand flick. What is a hand flick? Is that a hand flick? I don't know. I only drink tequila when I'm out with the girls. Does that work? Marcus Medina said, what about inertial propulsion? I've not heard about any advancements in that in a long time. I'm not sure what that is, honestly. Inertial propulsion. Inertial propulsion. Inertial propulsion. I have a feeling I'll probably run across this at some point. It's just not ringing a bell right now. Hang on. Oh, is this the reactionless drive? I have heard of the reactionless drive. Or maybe it's not. Here's something from February 21st on the website inertialpropulsion.com. And here's another thing that says inertial propulsion and other delusions. I don't know much about this, but it looks like sort of a theoretical thing. Yeah, angular momentum of a city. I will reserve saying anything because I have not looked into this. I don't know for sure. So let me write it down. I mean, I'm all for. I mean, I've covered M drive on multiple occasions, so I'm all for like exotic forms of propulsion, but I'm not. I don't want to like comment on it without having to look into it first. Cooper Carr. Okay, so Cooper Carr asked a question. Cooper Carr is one of my writers. So I don't know why you're paying me to ask a question unless you just want to be a good person and donate to a charity. So, but he asked, how did I get so handsome? Standing next to you. Oh, get it? Because I'm more handsome when I'm standing next to Cooper because he's so not handsome. It's not true. He's way younger than me. Martles. Whoever you are, you donated $500. Holy crap, dude. Thank you so much. That's amazing. Would you do a video on stem cell research in regards to spinal injuries? Love your videos. Keep it up. I mean, would I? Yeah, I haven't gone down that route in a while. Yeah. Getting lots of video ideas tonight. I'd be curious. I'd be curious what you. How am I trying to say this? I mean, you donated $500 to ask that question. I'm just curious: is that something you're super passionate about, or is there a reason? Like, is it something that you do yourself? I would be curious about that. FishQ asked, do you think characteristics or traits such as greed, envy, selfishness, etc. are needed for a species to become advanced or intelligent? Huh. Envy, selfishness. Well, I'm trying to think of like, you probably see some of that in, for lack of a better word, lower life forms. Greed and envy, selfishness. I'm going to weirdly say yes. You probably do need that, but because that's probably something that you develop far lower in the intelligence scale. There's a famous quote. Who was it that said this? Some anthropologist. I'm not going to get the name right, so I'm not going to try, but there's an anthropologist that said that was asked when civilization began, and her response was that it began, or that what they, where they consider to be civilization began, or where we became humans, kind of, was they found a skeleton with a femur that had healed from like, well, I don't know how long ago it was. It was a long time ago, like far prehistory. And the reason they consider that to be like where we became human or where we became a civilized species or whatever was because in the animal world, if you break your leg, the other animals, won't really care for you and carry you around and take look after you and heal you. But when human beings gain that sort of empathy is when we became human. So I would consider greed, envy, selfishness, and that kind of thing to be a bit lower on the scale. I would consider empathy to be higher. That you would need that to become advanced. That's just my opinion, but that's my opinion because it's nice and pretty, isn't it? But don't we need some nice and pretty sometimes? Joshua Jacob asked, what's the scariest, unexplainable, or weirdest experience you've ever had? Oh, Ooh. Scariest, unexplainable, or weirdest experience you've ever had. I haven't had a very interesting life. Never been abducted by aliens. Never been kidnapped. I almost got arrested by Mexican police one time. That was pretty scary. I mean, I had appendicitis when I was a kid. I had to have surgery. That wasn't fun. I was with a friend who grew up in Nuevo Laredo, right across the border, and he and I grabbed a 6-pack and we went out to some field where he apparently used to hang out when he was a kid. And the Mexican police showed up, and of course I don't speak Spanish, and you're supposed to bribe the police down there, according to him anyway. And so he was basically like, if the police come around, just offer them money and they'll go away. And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, that's how it works. And I'm going, okay. Well, like an idiot, we didn't have any money on us. And so when the police showed up, I literally had like $2, and it was really just an insult. Somehow we got out of it and didn't wind up getting arrested. So again, there's a lot of like almost things. A lot of things have almost happened to me. That's pretty lame. That's not much of a story, though. I can make something up if you want. I made out with Bigfoot. Better? I don't know. I got stabbed by the Loch Ness Monster. I fell into a really deep hole. I bounced on a trampoline and I went into space. Let's go with that. Yeet Music says, you've been subbed since about 400K. Great seeing the progress. Would you ever consider writing a book of your own? If so, what would you write? Yeah. Thank you. So, yes. Before everything got turned upside down this year, I definitely was going to do a book this year. That was like part of the plan. I have a few ideas. One of them would literally be just like take the top 10 videos and make a chapter out of each of them, just for a book. I did have an idea for a video, and it's sort of along the same lines. Maybe it's because I've been listening to this stuff a lot lately, and I'm thinking about the whole Dunning-Kruger effect quite a bit. But the idea was, it's the title of the book is "You're an Idiot and Other Important Things to Know." If I'm feeling generous, I might call it "I'm an Idiot" instead of "You're an Idiot." But the point of it is basically using sort of again, the fact that I've researched a lot of different topics over the years, and the more I do this, the more I realize how much there is to know about things, and the fact that everybody seems to be an expert. Again, isn't it funny how like nobody even knew what an epidemiologist was 3 months ago, and now everybody thinks they are one? You know, everybody's like submitting their opinions on what they think is the right or wrong thing about that we should do with COVID, and it's like, your opinion doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. You're not an expert. You don't know what you're talking about. I feel passionate about that these days. So if I were to sit down and write a book, it would probably be along those lines. There's also a graphic novel I've had in mind. It's based on a screenplay that I wrote with a friend. We're thinking about turning it into a graphic novel. So there's going to be some books. I do need to kind of work that into my my schedule. Yeah. Wooly Platt says, is there a theory you subscribe to that may be on the woo-woo spectrum? Well, like I said before, there's a lot of them that I used to cover that I don't really now, or that I used to believe in that I don't really now. I do still like the idea that the entire universe is like a brain, but that's mostly just because it kind of looks like a brain at the widest scales, and we're just kind of like part of that. Maybe the idea that there's various levels of reality that you got like the quantum level where it's got a certain set of rules, and we got like our level where there's a certain set of rules, and then there's like the galactic universe level where there's like relativistic sets of rules. And it's like, I don't know, like an individual human life is not really much in the grand scheme of things. But for that specific person, it's everything, and for the people around it, it's that person, it's a lot, So I think there's like levels of reality that you can kind of like peel like an onion and get bigger and bigger. I don't know how woo-woo that is, but it's kind of out there, I guess. Okay, so I saw a $5 super chat from Tim Lash. It says, you skipped my last super chat. I'm sorry that I missed that. But if you drop that, you did a $5 super chat to ask for your $10 back. Ask it again in the chat, and I'll try to get to it. All right, sorry about that. There's been a lot of stuff flying in, so I'm doing my best here. Joseph Lazar asked your thoughts on veganism and factory farming regarding ethics, environment, and antibiotic overuse. And I guess I missed your last super chat too. Was that the same question that you asked the last time? There have been people who have been equating factory farming with like what we saw in Wuhan, where this coronavirus started, the wet markets out there. And I think that's an okay correlation. I think it's okay to make that a correlation. I definitely have my problems with the way we do factory farming, okay? My voice is going, so I'm sipping a lot of water here. That's not water. But I don't 100% agree with the correlation between that and the wet markets. Like I don't like when people are pointing the finger at China for this whole thing, but at the same time, I do kind of blame them for allowing these very unsanitary markets to continue, where you have all these exotic species piled on top of each other. It's I mean, you're begging for some kind of zoonotic crossover to happen, or spillover, as David Quammen would say. It's the perfect storm for something like that to happen. So I do think they deserve a little bit of blame for that. But so that's why I say I do think that's worse than the factory farming that we have here, because we have all these, pigs, and we have swine flu, and we have bird flus getting spread around in these crowded, gross conditions. And, but at least it's not like multiple species of exotic animals piled on top of each other. It's just insane. Farming practices are disgusting and scary. Thoughts on veganism? I just don't know if I could ever do it. I'm sorry. I just don't know if I could. But I think it's the right way to go. I don't fault anybody for doing it. There's always the old joke that, how do you know someone's a vegan? Just wait, they'll tell you. Have a laugh about it. It's fine. But if everybody went vegan, it would probably be a lot better for the planet. Let's just say it. Antibiotic overuse is terrible. I try when I can to get, to get free-range chicken, cage-free eggs. I try to get as organic meat as possible, that kind of stuff. But it's still meat, and it's still not perfect. So, all right, let me get a little bit caught up here. You can probably hear my voice is starting to go. I'm probably going to need to wrap up here in a minute. By the way, $2.3 thousand so far, guys. That's awesome. I will contribute to that as well. I don't know exactly how much. I'll have to look in my account. But thank you. This is good. I hope it really, I think it'll help out. Okay, so Tim, I want to get your question if I can. I don't want to miss you. So if you can repeat it here in the chat, I'm looking for it. Tim Lash. Hayden Bach said, been a fan for ages, feel a bit guilty, couldn't stay on your Patreon as I always watch your videos the day they come out. Let us know when you can do a Joe Scott Down Under meetup. Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, I'd love to go down there. Might as well meet some people while I'm at it. Sorry, I'm just kind of going through these chats. Sorry, I just caught Brandon Kerr, who I've seen around quite a bit. Depending on how you look at it, rare earth theory is woo-woo? Okay. Kind of curious about that one. I actually think I think there's... Rare earth theory is interesting to me. I mean, I guess you can take anything to the extreme, but the fact that there's just so many specific things about this planet that we don't really see in other places, that it might be a lot more difficult to find life out there than we thought. I mean, or it might be everywhere. It all depends. If we find anything from the solar system, then we'll know. That's why they're looking at Enceladus and Titan and everything. Caesar says it's 5 a.m. and he needs to sleep. Please summarize all past and future questions and answers into one syllable. Thanks. It would sound like Elon's son's name, which nobody can pronounce. Apparently it's pronounced Ash in some way. So Ash, there you go. All right. You know what's funny about doing a live stream is eventually you just kind of stop talking. And then you realize, oh, I'm supposed to be talking. I don't know how radio guys do it. Radio guys that do like these 4-hour radio shows every day. It's no wonder they all, like when they get old, they'll have these real gravity voices. They'll sound like club promoters at strip clubs or something. Amber Gracie just said, hey Joe, found your channel recently. I've been binging your videos. I feel like I learned so much and wanted to thank you for all the great content. Thank you, Amber. That's very nice. Thank you. You know, I if I can go there, I mean, to just talk a little bit about the fact that the channel has hit 800,000 and it's still growing, and I'm getting to do this, and things are in a really good place for me. I mean, I am just you guys make this possible. There's a lot of people contributing super chats that are going to charity, and that's great. There's a lot of people that support on Patreon. That's great. I appreciate all of it. It means a lot to me. But even just the people who just watch the videos, even the people who tweet out stuff, comment, hit the little like button and all that. Even if you watch the videos and you never say anything or engage in any way, shape, or form whatsoever, I thank you so much for literally giving me this life that I have. It's I feel very thankful. Gracious, and I hope that I can keep doing this and just keep getting better and doing more fun videos. I'm trying to do more intros actually, because now that I'm actually a little bit ahead of things, now that I'm actually getting ahead of things on videos and getting sorry, this is a little bit behind the scenes, but I would get really frustrated because it would be like I would shoot the video on Friday and it had to come out on Monday, and it was always this rush. And thanks to the team that I have, I just met with them the other day and we talked about this. We're getting caught up, we're getting ahead. It's freaking awesome, And because of that, I now have a little bit of extra time and a little bit of extra leeway to do more fun intros and stuff like that. I hope you guys enjoy those, because that's where I came from. That's my background, is just writing comedy and dialogue and scripts and stuff like that. And that's really me kind of getting back to my roots, getting back to the things that I enjoy doing. And I want that to be a bigger part of the channel, and you guys make that possible. And I can't thank you enough, really, from the bottom of my heart. A couple little things that just came in. Let's get to those and we'll wrap it up. We've been going for about 3 hours now. 3 hours. Cyberdong again. The stainless steel dildo. Kudos for your pronunciation of zoonotic. And thanks for the stream. You're welcome. Well, I had to get it right before I talked to David Quammen. I didn't want to be too much of a dork when I was actually talking to him. And then I heard him say it many times, so I was verified. Armin Korsenrich. Armin Korsenrich. Sorry. You're familiar with the Fermi paradox. Now imagine we are the very first civilization in that theory. By the way, you got fans in Germany too. Cool. Ich liebe dich. Right? I'm going to stop that. Sorry. Yeah, imagine we are I've wondered that. Yeah, I mean, like, what if we are the very first ones? It's possible. Yeah. I have imagined that. I don't know where to go with that, but yeah. They're saying that Jack Daniels hitting. Joke's on you. This is Maker's Mark. I actually started to pour some Jack Daniels, but that's my wife's drink. Are there any videos you made but didn't release for one reason or another? And where are they about? Why didn't you release them? Oh, actually, yeah. Yeah, there was. Not on the main channel, but on the TMI channel. Shoot, what was it about? Crap, what was it about? Hang on, let me see. But yeah, I totally did. I went on a rant, and I recorded it, and I edited it, and I uploaded it, and then before I made it public, I just decided, no, I don't want to deal with this. It was not necessarily that I didn't believe what I said or anything. It just was really negative and just didn't feel right. You know, I want to be honest, and when I'm feeling passionate about something, I want to convey that, especially in the TMI videos. But I also, you know, I don't want to be a ranter. I don't want to be somebody that complains a lot and just. See if I can find it. See, I don't even remember what I was upset about. I think I had. I think it was about some of the conspiracy theories around. Was it the pandemic? It might have been at the very beginning of the pandemic. There was just all these, I mean, you've seen them, the crazy conspiracy theories out there, and I just snapped. And I did this whole video about it. I was very mad. Vix V says, when you look at the stars, it's obvious we're the only source of life that exists. I don't know how you can say that. Why? How can you say that? Like, if you look at the sun, there's no proof that there's life around that. It's just a star. Lancelot says, your depth of investigation is so much fun. Oh, okay. Well, thanks. I think I just kind of skimmed the surface on a lot of these topics, honestly. I like to think that I provide a cohesive look at it, but it's definitely not To me, it's not that deep. I mean, I hope it comes across that way. That's nice. But why do you think we didn't evolve night vision? Surely there's an evolutionary pressure for it. Is there some trade-off for night vision? Huh. Why do you think we didn't evolve night vision? Well, I mean, are there any primates that have night vision outside of like, oh, not lemurs. What are those little primates with the giant eyes? Huh. I don't know what to say other than like there's not any other real primates that have night vision. And maybe that's just a primate thing. I don't know. Lou Trim D asked, do you wish you had more money so that you could stop working hard and relax, or are you happy working more so than doing other things? Do I wish I had more money? Of course I wish I had more money. Who doesn't want to have more money? The thing is, I don't know. Even if I had $1 billion, would I be just relaxing? I don't think so. If there's anything I learned about myself, I don't relax very well. I'm terrible at relaxing. I just always have to be doing something. So what I would say is if I had more money, I would just spend my time doing the things I enjoy, which would be more like, honestly, like if I had all the money in the world, I would be making feature films. But I could even see a situation where I started making feature films and didn't even enjoy that. Feature films are a lot of work, and you have to work with a lot of other people. That's one thing about doing YouTube. I mean, I now have a team around me, but even still, that's like 6 people. It's mostly a solitary thing. You can just kind of shape it the way you want. But would I stop working hard? No, I would not stop working hard. I would just keep going. Because I like what I do. I enjoy this. I mean, it can be challenging and frustrating just like anything else, but if I was just sitting around, even when I actually get way ahead and I can be like, okay, I'm just going to relax tonight. I can't just sit there and watch TV anymore. Within 10 minutes, I'm like either on my phone or I'm on my computer. Maybe it's an ADD thing, but yeah. What's my favorite cookie? Chocolate chip. I'm a simple guy. Do you ever get the urge to drop everything and completely change the direction of the channel, try to achieve some goal like fight climate change or fight corruption? I have to resist that a little bit, actually. Yeah. If anything, right now it would be to fight Dunning-Kruger. But I always have to kind of step back and be like, is that what I want to do? And I think about that with the interviews thing too. Like for me right now, I want to be interviewing more people just because it'd be cool to meet some of these people, and sit down and talk with them. Like to me, that's just, that's a privilege that I have doing what I'm doing right now. I get a chance to do that. But do I want to become Larry King? No. I want to do narrative stuff. I want to tell stories. I want to immerse people in worlds, Let me just answer a couple more here. Somebody asked about my thoughts on Elon's kid's name. We talked about that in OLF. That'll be out tomorrow. Batman syndrome. It strikes all weird owls? Or is it owls or AI? Weird owls or weird AIs? You capitalize weird, so I think you're saying weird owls. I don't know if that's to do with anything. All right. Real quick, we do have a Discord for Patreon and members. We had been really behind on getting members set up on Discord, and actually there's some things I need to figure out in terms of how to make that work. But if you are a member, we'll be setting that up soon. We're working on it. So it looks like we got 7 new members tonight. I really need to spend a little bit more time on the members. I always do the $5 and up Patreons at the end of the videos. Every once in a while I try to get caught up on the members. I'm trying to be a little bit better about that. So apologies to those who have joined the memberships. You do definitely get access to the live streams though. We do 2 live streams a month, just for Patreon and members. They're not 3 hours long. They're about an hour long. And it's just a hang, you know? So I invite all of you to do that. But I think I'm going to start wrapping this up. My voice is killing me. Weird Owls, all musically inclined geniuses. It's funny. UHF is one of my favorite movies. It's terrible, but it's awesome. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Tarsier. The primate with giant eyes is the Tarsier. Yes, that's it. That was what I was thinking of earlier. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much again, just for being here tonight. I can't believe there's still 822 people watching right now. That's insane. I appreciate you guys being here. We have raised $2,300 for again, donateppe.org. If you would like to go and just donate yourself to them or help them out in any way, it looks like there's several different ways you can help them. There's links down in the description. Please do that. And we can help out some of these frontline responders who are putting their health on the line to help people out. So, again, I don't have the words to express the gratitude that I have for all of you for supporting what we do here. And I'm glad you're enjoying it. Hopefully I will maintain the level of, quality that you guys like, and I'm just so grateful I get to do this, and I thank you all so much. So with that, I think I'll wrap it up. You guys have a nice night. Stay safe out there. Be careful. I love you all truly, and if I could do that a few more times, what is this? You guys take care of yourselves, and catch you next time. Later.